Chapter 441 Antares is not omniscient. Antares really couldn't think of any good things to trade. Lin Mo said, I have a few questions, can you answer me? Of course, this can also be regarded as part of the transaction. Lin Mo thought for a while and made his request. Anything that is not lacking has no value. The more you lack, the higher the value. For a person who is about to die of thirst in the desert, the value of water is far higher than gold. Lin Mo is like this now, the things he does not lack have no value to him. Since Antares said that he wanted an equal exchange, and he could not take out anything, Lin Mo naturally would not be polite and made his request. He had many questions in his heart, perhaps he could get the answers from Antares. Antares raised his eyelids, a little uninterested. You ask. Lin Mo asked, can the desolate beasts in the desolate void be killed? How to kill them? Antares seemed to be aroused by Lin Mo's question, have you been to the desolate void? 29. Lin Mo nodded, I did my second job advancement there. Antares laughed heartily, your teacher is really brave. Aren't they afraid of encountering the king of the wild beasts? Lin Mo said, we did encounter it. Antares's voice became low, it seems you were lucky to return alive after encountering the king of the wild beasts. There are ways to kill wild beasts, and it's not difficult. As long as the power reaches the god level and the purity is sufficient at 687, you can kill wild beasts. Lin Mo shook his head and said, but my teacher is already level 95. He can only repel the wild beast, and it's hard to even injure it. Ha, a bunch of trash. Even at level 99, they're still trash. I've already answered this question. Next. Lin Mo had already remembered the answer, sufficient purity. He thought of Yan Guangsheng finally injuring the wild beast. That was when he used the power of murderous aura. Now, Yan Guangsheng seems to have gained some insight, seemingly to improve the purity of his murderous aura. The two should be the same concept. Lin Mo continued to ask, I have a skill that can summon elemental liches using elemental materials. But the elemental leech I summon with legendary materials explodes. Lin Mo had some guesses about this question. But it's best to confirm, as he wasn't sure if his guess was correct. Antares was even more interested at this time. Oh, there's such a thing, demonstrate it for me. Lin Mo immediately took out a solidified piece of Vulcan's essence blood. A scream came from above, filled with anger. Ancient Luan bird bared its teeth at Lin Mo, as if saying that the thing was its. Antares glanced at Ancient Luan bird, Xiao Hei, be quiet. There's plenty of this stuff underground. Hearing Antares's words, Ancient Luan bird unwillingly quieted down, but its eyes were still full of displeasure. Lin Mo used the skill, and flames soared into the sky, the aura of a god-level CC permeating. A flame leech with a god-level aura appeared beside him. The flames on the flame leech were powerful and chaotic, and quickly turned violent. Lin Mo immediately let it run away, as it would explode soon. Before it could run 2 steps, Antares gently raised its paw. A giant claw fell from the sky, grabbing the flame leech in its hand. Boom! Seconds later, the flame leech exploded in Antares's claw. But none of the explosive energy leaked out, and Antares's expression didn't change at all. This little bit of explosive energy wasn't even enough to tickle it. Lin Mo once again witnessed its power, unimaginably powerful. After the explosion, a flame leech that had returned to platinum level flew back. The flame leech's explosion wasn't suicide, it was just releasing uncontrollable energy. Antares said in a low voice, the power is passable, barely reaching level 90. In your human terms, it's a pseudo-god level. Lin Mo also felt that it was about that level. He looked at Antares, hoping to get a definite answer. Antares continued, the reason for the explosion is that the skill level is too low and the material level is too high. That's why legendary weapons can only be used after completing the 3rd job advancement at level 70. With its answer, Lin Mo felt relieved. As long as he reached level 70, he could summon a flame leech with god-level power. Then he would be qualified to face some weaker demon kings head-on. But now, if he could have enough solidified Vulcan's essence blood, combined with the bone prison. Even if he could only control it for half a second, it seemed like he could fight. Lin Mo had a bold idea. Antares continued to ask, any more questions? Lin Mo immediately said, can the corpse poison from the corpse world be neutralized? A look of surprise appeared in Antares's eyes again, you even know about the corpse world. It found that this little guy's experience was too rich, even richer than some god-level experts. Lin Mo said, I went there once and almost died inside. Antares said in shock, "You've actually been there." It leaned over to Lin Mo again and took a deep breath, then stared at Lin Mo intently. "No, you've not only been there, but you've also been to the secret realm of life. You have the aura of corpses on you, and also the aura of the divine power of life." "Let me think." Its gaze seemed to be able to see through Lin Mo's mental world, with a hint of doubt. "Did you get the Staff of Genesis?" Lin Mo knew he couldn't hide it. From the moment he mentioned the corpse world, he had no intention of hiding it. With a flash of white light, the Staff of Genesis appeared in his hand. Seeing the Staff of Genesis, Antares burst into earth-shattering laughter. "It's so funny, letting you bunch of trash fight to the death, fighting for the position of the god of life. In the end, none of you got it right and all died inside. Serves you right." Lin Mo looked at Antares' laughing appearance. As expected, it knew everything that happened back then. And from its words, it could be heard that even the Staff of Genesis and the position of the god of life were extremely disdainful to it. Lin Mo couldn't help but have a bold guess. The Staff of Genesis was a treasure that could help god-level experts become transcendent level, yet it didn't even look at it. Then what kind of existence was the transcendent level in Antares' eyes? Could it be that it was stronger than a transcendent? Antares laughed enough before continuing, "I can answer this question for you. Corpse poison can't be cured. Once poisoned, even god-level experts will die. And the stronger the poisoned person, the stronger the toxicity of the corpse poison. That forbidden skill is enough to kill all existences below the transcendent level." Lin Mo didn't expect Antares to say such an answer. Corpse poison really can't be cured. But the Lich General clearly neutralized the corpse poison. As long as the Lich General's level rises, it is estimated that even god-level corpse poison can be neutralized. Is it because I'm special, or is it because undead skeletons are special? Lin Mo thought in his heart. He didn't mention that his Lich General could neutralize corpse poison. Lin Mo also understood that Antares wasn't omniscient. There were also things it didn't know. Antares said, "You were lucky to return alive from the corpse world. Since you're so lucky, I'll let you ask a few more questions." Lin Mo said, "Can dead people be resurrected?" "Yes." Antares answered very definitely this time, "Can't you? I can sense that you've planted a soul imprint. Your soul is connected to a certain place. Before you reach the god level, as long as your soul doesn't die, it will return there after death and can be resurrected." Lin Mo grasped the key point in its words. "What about after the god level?" "Yes, it's still possible." Antares continued, "After the god level, the soul returns to itself, and the imprint disappears automatically. If you want to resurrect after death, it will be very troublesome, but it's not impossible. Like that Zhang Yi, isn't he trying to resurrect? It's a pity that his level is too high, level 98, half-step transcendent. Hee, only this deity in the whole world has the ability to resurrect him." Lin Mo finally understood that Zhang Yi's deal with Antares was for resurrection. It was precisely because he retained this glimmer of hope that Zhang Yi retained his soul and survived to this day. However, there was nothing wrong with Zhang Yi's resurrection. From now on, the human race will have another half-step transcendent, which is a good thing for the human race. Lin Mo took a deep breath and asked another question, "How can one become a transcendent?" 30. Lin Mo knew very well that Antares wouldn't answer too many of his questions. And he had many questions in his heart, so he could only pick some key ones to ask. Antares stared at Lin Mo again. "You're only level 50, the transcendent is still far away from you. Think carefully, if I answer this question, I won't answer any other questions for you." Lin Mo saw disdain in its dragon eyes. He was indeed a bit too ambitious, but this question wasn't for himself. Lin Mo insisted, "Just this question, please answer me." Antares said, "Since you insist, then I'll tell you. Becoming a transcendent isn't actually that difficult. First, you need to reach level 98. Level 98 and level 99 are both called half-step transcendent. When you reach level 99, there are 3 ways to become a transcendent." Lin Mo was slightly shocked. There were actually 3 ways. In that case, the path to becoming a transcendent wasn't narrow. Antares noticed Lin Mo's expression, revealing a playful smile. "The first one, the simplest, is to reach level 99 first, and comprehend everything to the limit. Use some top-tier materials, plus a formation, and you can become a transcendent. The second one, after reaching level 99 and comprehending everything, you can use some mythical grade items for a chance to become a transcendent. You should understand why everyone is fighting for the Genesis scepter, right?" The third one, also the most difficult, is at level 98 or 99, also comprehending everything to the limit. Then, one of your stats exceeds 10 million, and you can become a transcendent. Lin Moyu followed up, are there differences between the three types of transcendent? Antares chuckled, your question is over, I don't need to answer you anymore. Lin Moyu shook his head, you've lived for countless years, you should be magnanimous and not be calculative. Flattery. To know the answer, Lin Moyu's skin had thickened at this moment. Antares seemed to be a little pleased, seeing how sincere you are, then I'll reluctantly tell you. The strongest of the three types of transcendent are those who break through using their own attributes, followed by those who fuse with treasures, and the weakest are those who break through using formations. Lin Moyu could completely understand. Breaking through entirely relying on one's own attributes, needless to say, was naturally the strongest. But it was also the most difficult. 10 million stats, and that's the base stat without equipment. What kind of concept was that? It wasn't the total stats exceeding 10 million, but one of the stats exceeding 10 million. His own stats were already considered extremely strong, but his high spirit stat was only 200,000. Still a full 50 times away from 10 million, very far away. It was really very difficult. The second type was the combination of one's own power plus the power of a mythical grade treasure. The two powers combined to become a transcendent. Slightly weaker than relying entirely on oneself. After all, part of it relied on external objects. As for the weakest, that was completely relying on the formation to break through. There was no need to mention that. Completely relying on external force, what else could it be if not the weakest? Antares said, now you understand, right? The reward has already been paid, now it's your turn to fulfill your promise. Lin Moyu shook his head, don't worry, you haven't finished talking about my conditions yet. Antares glared, what did you say? Lin Moyu's skin thickened again, you don't think that I'm going to such a dangerous place to help you retrieve something, and a few questions are enough to pay the reward, right? When saying this, Lin Moyu wasn't afraid. He had already thought it through when he raised the question. Antares narrowed its eyes, little guy, don't be too greedy. I've seen too many greedy people, dying prematurely. There was already a hint of threat in his words. Lin Moyu didn't care, you said it yourself, equivalent exchange, fair trade. Even if you don't agree, you have to wait for me to finish talking about the conditions, right? And if you really want to kill me, it's just a matter of blowing a breath. At this moment, Lin Moyu's skin not only became thicker, but also had a bit of eloquence. If people who knew Lin Moyu were here, they would definitely be greatly surprised. A person who usually couldn't utter a sound for half a day was actually so eloquent. Lin Moyu just didn't want to talk, not that he couldn't talk. Antares was indeed not afraid of what Lin Moyu could do, speak, I'm listening. Lin Moyu said, let's treat the previous questions as a deposit. After I bring back the things from the burial Thunder Canyon, I hope to obtain some materials. Similar to the solidified fire god's essence blood, a legendary attribute material. I know that there are quite a few of these materials under this ground. It's not difficult for you to obtain them. Lin Moyu's request was very measured. He judged that there were a lot of materials like solidified fire god's essence blood under the ground in the core area. With his ability, it would naturally be difficult to obtain, but for Antares, it was easy. And these things were buried here, they were simply unowned, Antares only needed to take them, there was almost no loss. Therefore, Lin Moyu felt that Antares could accept it. Just this. Antares's reaction was indeed as expected. These things were useless to Antares, and it never thought they could be used as trade items. The things it didn't want were good treasures for Lin Moyu. Yes, just this, Lin Moyu said affirmatively. Antares laughed loudly, okay, as long as you can get what I need, I can not only give you these materials but also give you another good thing. Since that's the case, then our deal is reached. After you go to the lower space, go to the burial Thunder Canyon to retrieve things for me. Lin Moyu said, since that's the case, then it's settled. After I go to the lower space, I'll go to the burial Thunder Canyon. Seeking fresh flowers. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. The deal was reached, as for when to go, there was no hurry. Antares continued, then I'll send you away now. A gust of wind suddenly rose. Lin Moyu suddenly saw a hint of playfulness in Antares's giant eyes. He suddenly had a creepy feeling in his heart. Something's wrong. Antares' eyes made him feel something was wrong, but it was too late. The gust of wind carried shining light spots, wrapping Lin Moyu and Mu Shenxian. The two disappeared instantly and were taken away by the wind. HMPH, dare to negotiate terms with me, do you really think I'm easy to fool? Fighting with me, kid, you're still too young. Antares snorted, then lay down again, slowly closing its eyes. There was a teasing look in his eyes, as if he had done something very fun. In the dim space, Lin Moyu looked at the sky. 0. There was light in the sky, but it was very dim. Light spots constantly fell from the sky, bringing light to the world. Many strange plants grew on the ground, like flowers but not flowers, like grass but not grass. The leaves were very large, enough to wrap Lin Moyu. 31. The leaves had clear patterns, and the patterns were glowing, illuminating the surroundings. Compared to the light spots in the sky, the light of the plants was brighter. Behind the leaves was a short tree. The branches stretched out like vines, covered with similar huge leaves. Lin Moyu was standing on one of the leaves, while Mu Qianqin was lying beside him. The leaves were very tough, bearing the weight of him and Mu Qianqin. This is not the upper space. Where is this? After experiencing a minute-long teleportation, Lin Moyu thought of Antares' eyes before the teleportation and felt uneasy. At this moment, Antares' voice sounded in his ear, "You brat, daring to fool this deity, you are the first in thousands of years. This is the lower space of the eternal battlefield. Since you are already here, fulfill your promise and go to Burial Thunder Canyon." Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment, and he realized that he had said something wrong just now. He should say that he was induced by Antares. Antares said that after he went to the lower space, he would go to Burial Thunder Canyon. He didn't pay attention for a while and agreed. He didn't expect that Antares had caught this point and directly sent him to the lower space. The two sides did not agree on a time, but only agreed on a location. Since he has arrived in the lower space, he needs to fulfill his promise. At this time, a small scale suddenly appeared in front of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu recognized it at a glance. This is a scale belonging to Antares. The scale can take you out of the lower space, but it can only take one person. Lin Moyu's eyes were slightly depressed. He was obviously tricked. Antares, this guy, is too cunning. Chapter 443 Lower Space, Treasure Land. Antares is an old dragon who has lived for who knows how many years. Although his head is a little rusty, he is still very shrewd. He never hesitates to trick people. But then again, Lin Moyu also knew that he had tricked Antares first, so he couldn't completely blame it. Holding the scale in his hand, Lin Moyu certainly understood what Antares meant. He can leave the lower space at any time through the scale. But Mu Qianqin don't even think about leaving. With Mu Qianqin's ability, her life would be in danger at any time in the lower space. Moreover, ordinary teleportation items here have lost their effect, and it is not easy to leave. Lin Moyu checked his items. Sure enough, the teleportation stone given by Meng Anwen has failed. The teleportation stone given by Meng Anwen is a platinum-level item, which allows him to directly return from the upper space, as well as the copies and secret realms in the upper space. But Meng Anwen never thought that he would enter the lower space. Although the upper and lower spaces both belong to the eternal battlefield, the distance between the two is actually very far. The teleportation stone given by Meng Anwen lost its effect. 180. But, the corners of Lin Moyu's mouth slightly raised, the Abyss teleportation stone can still be used. He can completely go to the Abyss world directly from here, and he can also leave the lower space. Lin Moyu thought about it and took back the Abyss teleportation stone. Going to the Abyss world is too dangerous, he was lucky last time. If he was a little less lucky, he would be directly teleported to a Demon King's presence, or in the Demon King's city. He would surely die. In comparison, it is much safer here. It seems that I can only go to Burial Thunder Canyon now to complete the transaction with Antares. Lin Moyu believes that since Antares wants to make a deal with him, there will definitely be a backhand. As long as he can get the corresponding things, Antares can get him back. Along with a weak moan, Mu Qianqin finally woke up. She rubbed her eyes, with doubt. Strange, how did I fall asleep? She didn't know that she had lost consciousness. It has to be said that Antares' methods are quite clever. Lin Moyu naturally wouldn't mention Antares' affairs to her, but handed the scale in his hand to her. Mu Qianqin, who had just woken up, instinctively took the scale, slightly dull and cute. What is this? Lin Moyu looked around. We have entered the lower space of the eternal battlefield. Ah! Mu Qianqian let out a soft call, and quickly covered her small mouth again, staring with big eyes, completely unbelievable. How could it be? Don't you have to be level 70 to enter the lower space? Lin Moyu said, don't worry about the reason. In short, we are now in the lower space. There may be danger here, the scale in your hand can send you away. Mu Qianqian said oh, and instinctively clenched the scale. This is life-saving. But suddenly she seemed to realize something. Then what about you? Although Mu Qianqian is simple, she is not stupid. Lin Moyu said, I naturally have it too, just telling you, run at the first sign of danger, I may not be able to take care of you. Mu Qianqian said oh, I understand. She also knows that if she stays, not only will she not be able to help Lin Moyu, but she may also become a burden to Lin Moyu. She told herself that she would run at the first sign of danger, and never cause trouble to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu looked around, checking the surrounding environment. Since he is here, let him be at peace. He has already agreed to Antares' transaction, and at the same time, he has come to the lower space. No matter what the reason for coming, he must go to Burial Thunder Canyon now. Of course, Lin Moyu is not the kind of person who doesn't want his life for the sake of a transaction. If there is real danger, he will definitely activate the Abyss Teleportation Stone at the first time. Let's go. Lin Moyu jumped off the leaf. The leaf swayed slightly, bringing a breeze. The breeze blew into the distance, and drove other leaves, and for a time, a large number of leaves shook, making rustling sounds. Mu Qianqian also jumped off the leaf, and let out a soft call as soon as she landed. What's wrong? Lin Moyu asked. Mu Qianqian said in a low voice, I seem to have stepped on something. Lin Moyu looked down. There was nothing under Mu Qianqian's feet. But behind her feet, there seemed to be a long drag mark. It seems to be the mark left by the tree vines. Judging from this, what Mu Qianqian stepped on just now should be the tree vines. After being stepped on, the tree vines retracted, leaving a drag mark. Lin Moyu immediately felt that something was wrong. Does this tree vine have life? At this time, the huge leaves are still shaking constantly, and it is becoming more and more intense, and the sound is also getting heavier. The rustling sound became harsh, and the light of the patterns on the leaves became intermittent. 32. The surrounding space became flickering, the atmosphere instantly turning eerie. Mu Qianqian felt a sense of fear, her face paling. Is something going to happen? At that moment, a dark shadow silently attacked. The shadow was very fast, without any sound of wind breaking. Mu Qianqian didn't sense anything. Lin Moyu sensed it, stepping past Mu Qianqian, his finger pointing towards the shadow. Skill. Bone fangs. White light illuminated the surroundings. The bone fangs collided with the dark shadow. The sharp bone fangs, numbering 3,000, with most of them landing on the shadow at close range. The shadow instantly retreated. Using the white light of the bone fangs, Lin Moyu saw clearly that the shadow was a vine. Moreover, the vine was very sturdy, the bone fangs surprisingly failing to penetrate it. Mu Qianqian hadn't reacted yet, unaware of what had happened. Lin Moyu had just repelled one vine when, in the next second, a large number of dark shadows lashed out from all directions. Go! Without a second thought, Lin Moyu directly unfolded his lightning undead wings, embracing Mu Qianqian and soaring into the sky. The shadows instantly turned, frantically coiling towards the two. This time, Mu Qianqian finally saw clearly, so many vines. Lin Moyu didn't speak, he had already pushed his speed to the limit. 600 meters per second, a very fast speed. But the vines were even faster, looking like they were about to catch up. Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and red light scattered. Skill. Curse of Aging. With a loud hum, the speed of the vines instantly slowed down. Lin Moyu saw that on the earth, densely packed red lights were flickering. The Curse of Aging skill was already level 50, the skill's curse range was 200 meters. After being amplified by the level 60 talent, the range directly reached 12,000 meters. Within a range of 12,000 meters, countless red small swords with shackles appeared. The ground was covered with small trees with huge leaves, and countless vines drilled out from under the ground. For a time, mud and soil flew everywhere. It looked as if countless venomous snakes were flying and crawling on the earth. Lin Moyu felt his hair stand on end in an instant, he realized he had stirred up a hornet's nest. Extremely acute senses allowed him to feel a large amount of malice. Mu Qianshan's face was pale, still shaken. So scary, how can there be so many? It should be a gregarious type. Plant-type monsters were not uncommon, but so many in number were rare. Lin Moyu cast detection, quickly obtaining the opponent's information. Giant leaf dwarf tree. Level 72. Strength 300,000. Agility 100,000. Spirit 80,000. Constitution 300,000. Skills: Vine Whip, Entanglement, Giant Leaf Cut. Traits: Wood Element Immunity 50%, Physical Damage Reduction 30%, Fire Element Damage Increase 30%, Life Force Enhancement. 3.6. Seeing the attributes, Lin Moyu was speechless. Level 72 monsters, with total attributes reaching 780,000. This wasn't a boss, just ordinary monsters. He knew his feeling was right. The substantial increase in attributes starting at level 60 was just a transitional period of adaptation. After level 70, the attributes were a real leap. Not only monsters, but also human race professionals, even abyss demons and dragons were the same. Level 40 and level 70 were both qualitative leaps. Once a human race professional reached third job advancement, their attributes nearly doubled compared to level 69. Therefore, level 69 was only an advanced professional, while level 70 could be called a top professional. Super high attributes, plus 3 skills, and a large number of traits. And a vast number that couldn't be seen at a glance. For any level 70 plus professional, this area was a death zone. But for Lin Moyu smiled. A treasure land. Chapter 444, a big guy suddenly arrives. In Lin Moyu's eyes, these endless giant leaf dwarf trees, plant-type monsters, were experience. The vines were still dancing wildly. Lin Moyu stood with Mu Qianshan in the sky hundreds of meters high, exceeding the attack range of the vines. However, this distance was still within the attack range of the skeleton archmage and skeleton marksman. The level 50 skeleton archmage and skeleton marksman had an attack range of over 2,000 meters. Even if they couldn't see the opponent, as long as they were locked on from a distance, they could attack. Especially the skeleton marksman, once the soul was locked, the arrows never missed. A large number of skeleton archmages and marksmen appeared, pouring firepower downwards. Elemental explosions brought brilliant light, illuminating the darkness. The vines were blasted apart, and leaves fell one after another. All the giant leaf dwarf trees rioted at this moment. All the giant leaves simultaneously emitted dazzling light, detaching from the branches and flying into the sky. Skill: Giant Leaf Cut. Serrated edges grew on the sides of the giant leaves, looking extremely sharp. They rotated rapidly in the air, making a sound of serrations rubbing against the air, which was very harsh. There were too many giant leaves, covering the sky and the sun. Lin Moyu drove the lightning undead wings, flying nimbly and dodging in the air. But there were always some that couldn't be avoided. The giant leaves hit the bone armor, making the bone armor shine and creak. Dense cracks appeared on the bone armor. The giant leaf's attack power of 28 was very powerful. The bone armor could only withstand 2 hits at most before breaking. As expected of level 72 monsters, they are indeed different. A full 300,000 strength attribute gave the giant leaf dwarf tree super strong attack power. Its attack power had far exceeded the level 68 battlefield desolate beast. It could even compete with the ancient Luan bird before Nirvana. There were too many giant leaves, at least hundreds of thousands. Completely covering the skeleton archmages and skeleton marksmen. Causing great damage to them. The Lich General was constantly healing, but could only barely maintain balance. The attacks of the skeleton archmages and marksmen had also never stopped. But so far, not a single giant leaf dwarf tree had been killed. 33. Lin Moyu realized there was a problem. After rounds of attacks, even with the giant leaf dwarf tree possessing 300,000 constitution, and despite being a plant-based monster with enhanced vitality, it shouldn't have lasted this long. After all, it was just a normal monster, not a boss. Could it be that it possesses an ability similar to full connection? At that moment, Lin Moyu looked towards the distance. Using the light from the elemental explosions, he saw that the giant leaf dwarf trees in the distance, which hadn't been attacked, also had many of their vines broken. Even though they hadn't been attacked, their vines were broken. Lin Moyu confirmed his guess. They indeed possessed a talent similar to full connection. Damage could be transferred to their companions in some way. allowing this endless forest of giant leaf dwarf trees to share the damage. He didn't expect them to have such a function. Monsters above level 70 were indeed not ordinary. Then let's try again. Let's see if you can distribute the damage faster, or if I can deal damage faster. Lin Moyu's heart stirred. 9,000 skeleton berserkers simultaneously appeared in midair, rapidly charging downwards. The giant leaves flying in the air immediately had a new target, charging towards the skeleton berserkers. Various colors such as red, cyan, blue, gray, white, and yellow appeared around Lin Moyu. Flame Lich, Storm Lich, Frost Lich, Earth Lich, Lightning Lich, and Undead Lich emerged one after another. 6 halos immediately appeared beneath the skeletons' feet. Flames rose, and the flying giant leaves were set ablaze. Lightning crackled and fell. Thousands upon thousands of lightning bolts no longer concentrated on a single point. With too many targets, the lightning halos also chose their own targets. The dark space was completely lit up, countless fireballs appeared in the air, and lightning and thunder rumbled on the ground. The skeleton berserkers, carrying wind, fire, lightning, fell into the trees, wielding their giant axes to chop down. Vines were cut off, and branches exploded into fragments. The skeleton berserkers quickly found the main bodies of the giant leaf dwarf trees, unleashing their skills collectively. Each giant leaf dwarf tree was short and fat, surrounded by dozens or hundreds of skeleton warriors, simultaneously enduring dozens or hundreds of skill bombardments. As the skeletons with the strongest burst damage in the Undead Legion, they had never disappointed Lin Moyu. Each skill bombardment instantly burst out damage equivalent to 2.7 million strength. Coupled with the damage increase from the Curse of Aging, the giant leaf dwarf trees were instantly broken through their defenses and shattered. The intense damage prevented them from transferring it to their companions to share. With a bang, a giant leaf dwarf tree exploded under the bombardment of the skeleton berserkers. Killed level 72 giant leaf dwarf tree, experience plus 2,160,000. Gained dwarf tree seed. Subsequently, prompts appeared one after another. None of the giant leaf dwarf trees surrounded and killed by the skeleton berserkers survived. We have corpses. With corpses, there would be weapons, and the rest would be easy. Lin Moyu flew down with Mu Shenxian, quickly entering the skill range. Locking onto the corpses, he slightly raised his hand, and the skill erupted. Skill: Corpse Explosion. Corpse Explosion level 7 detonates the corpse, dealing 40% of the corpse's health as damage to enemies within a 7-meter radius. Corpse Explosion had been upgraded to level 7, and after amplification, the skill range reached 420 meters. The damage dealt also reached 2,400% of the corpse's health. The giant leaf dwarf trees that had just been killed were still very fresh, and their health was still very abundant. In the explosions, a large number of vines collapsed and were destroyed. The sudden and terrifying damage rendered the giant leaf dwarf trees' damage-sharing ability useless. A large number of giant leaf dwarf trees were killed. Once the dwarf trees died, their skills were also interrupted. The giant leaves that were flying and cutting in the air also scattered down, and a rain of leaves fell from the sky. Lin Moyu drove the lightning undead wings, flying all the way, and wherever he flew, explosions sounded. There were too many giant leaf dwarf trees, so many that Lin Moyu couldn't count them all. Wherever he looked, there were dwarf trees. Lin Moyu let go and exploded them to his heart's content. Anyway, he didn't need to consider the consumption of mental power, he just needed to explode all the way. It could be said that there were no artistic skills, and the battle became a one-sided massacre. Mu Shenxian had recovered at this time. She was being held by Lin Moyu, her small face was red and hot. But she didn't dare to say anything, let alone move, feeling that shrinking like this was quite good. She could feel the experience increasing rapidly, and each explosion could bring a lot of experience. She never thought that the terrifying level 72 monsters would still be so vulnerable in front of Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu was really too powerful. Mu Shenxian carefully looked up at Lin Moyu, and saw Lin Moyu's face. How can he be so powerful? Being held by him is so safe. How wonderful it would be if it could always be like this. Oh dear, Mu Shenxian, what are you thinking about? Thinking of this, Mu Shenxian couldn't help but close her eyes, even more shy. Suddenly, the explosions stopped. At the same time, they changed direction. Originally moving forward, they suddenly began to retreat quickly. There was a howling wind in her ears, and Mu Shenxian could feel that Lin Moyu was retreating very quickly and urgently. What happened? She opened her eyes and couldn't help but let out a soft cry. A huge tree appeared not far away. It was many times larger than the previous giant leaf dwarf trees. It stood tall and upright, at least several hundred meters high, higher and larger than a small mountain. Its leaves were so lush that they blotted out the sky and the sun. Everything went dark, and a huge vine whipped over at a rapid speed. The speed was extremely fast. With a bang, the bone armor shattered in response, and Lin Moyu was also sent flying. The terrifying impact force sent Lin Moyu uncontrollably flying backwards for thousands of meters. Lin Moyu's expression was very solemn at this time. He was still exploding happily just now, but suddenly all the giant leaf dwarf trees drilled into the ground at the same time. Then the earth twisted for a while, and such a huge tree appeared in front of him. Its appearance shocked Lin Moyu from the bottom of his heart, and a sense of danger rose involuntarily. So without thinking, he directly retreated rapidly. Even so, he was still hit. The terrifying power shocked Lin Moyu. The attack just now was too powerful. The bone armor with 300,000 constitution was actually useless. 34. Lin Mo was at least 3,000 meters away from his opponent, just beyond their attack range. Watching from afar, Lin Mo didn't want to get close before understanding the opponent's strength. When in doubt, use the detection spell. The moment he saw the attributes, Lin Mo turned to leave. Chapter 445. You won't let me leave. Then I'll kill you. Mu Qianqin also used detection, her face turning pale with fright. Lin Mo originally wanted to try fighting, but now he just wanted to leave, the farther the better. Giant Leaf Mother Tree World-Class Boss. Level 86. Strength 1,500,000. Agility 1,000,000. Spirit 1,000,000. Constitution 2,600,000. Skills: Inevitable Entanglement, Giant Leaf Cut. Traits: 70% immunity to wood element damage, 70% immunity to physical damage, greatly enhanced vitality, enhanced attack power, enhanced defense. Seeing these attributes, there was no point in fighting. The total attributes reached 6.1 million. Unless he unleashed the strong soldier's skill, he might have a chance to fight. But that was just a possibility, not a certainty. The giant leaf mother tree felt even more powerful than the Flame Demon King back then. When the Flame Demon King entered the dungeon to hunt him down, his strength was suppressed by the rules. Although still powerful, Lin Mo was confident in fighting him. Now that he had leveled up to 50, his strength was even greater. When he saw the giant leaf mother tree, Lin Mo's first reaction was to stay away. Lin Mo had great faith in his intuition. If the Flame Demon King and the giant leaf mother tree were to fight, the one who would die would definitely be the Flame Demon King. Plant-type monsters possessed terrifying vitality, let alone a plant-type world boss. Its vitality was despairingly strong. In the blink of an eye, he had flown thousands of meters away with Mu Qianqin. In his sight, the giant leaf mother tree was just a black dot. At this moment, he saw a large number of black dots suddenly appearing in the air. The space seemed to be cut open, and countless giant leaves flew over. Skill: Giant Leaf Cut. Although they were all giant leaves, they were completely different from the giant leaf dwarf trees from before. This time, the leaves came from the giant leaf mother tree, each one with a diameter of over 10 meters, incredibly huge. The giant leaves whistled as they came, cutting through the space. Lin Mo fully accelerated, dodging constantly in the air. Giant leaves were whistling from all directions, and Lin Mo finally had no way to avoid them. He summoned several skeleton berserkers as meat shields. With several loud bangs, the skeleton berserkers were not blown away by the giant leaves, but were cut in half, collapsing on the spot. However, the giant leaves also changed direction, brushing past Lin Mo. The bone armor flashed and shattered, scaring Lin Mo into a cold sweat. The skeletons collapsed and died, and the comprehensive connection talent lost its effect once again. Lin Mo was depressed. Why could these guys ignore his talent? The god-level expert from the corpse world could, the Flame Demon King's skills could, and now even this level 86 world-class boss could. In the instant the skeletons collapsed, Lin Mo sensed a peculiar aura. Thoughts flashed through his mind like lightning. He had sensed a similar aura in the Flame Demon King's skills before. It was its existence that caused his talent to become ineffective. But now was not the time to consider these things. More giant leaves flew over. Lin Mo tried his best to dodge, and if he really couldn't avoid them, he could only use the skeletons as meat shields. He wasn't sure if his damage transfer skill was effective. If it wasn't, he would be dead. After flying another few thousand meters, he finally shook off the giant leaves. Before he could even breathe a sigh of relief, the ground ahead buzzed and vibrated, and the sky suddenly darkened. The hundreds of meters tall giant leaf mother tree rose from the ground and leapt over, passing Lin Mo in the blink of an eye and appearing in front of him. This jump covered a distance of at least 7 or 8,000 meters. How could a tree jump like this? It was unimaginable. Lin Mo knew that he had to fight. He had to fight to the death again, and this time it was even more dangerous than the last time against the Flame Demon King. A level 86 world-class boss, it was hard to say whether he could win. "I'll release you, activate the scales and leave immediately." Backquote, Lin Mo said solemnly. But before the fight started, he had to let Mu Qianshan leave first. If a real fight broke out, he definitely wouldn't be able to take care of her. She would most likely die. Mu Qianshan understood very well and nodded, "Okay, I'll leave right away." The space in front of them twisted again, and a large number of giant leaves flew over. The giant leaf mother tree launched the giant leaf cut skill again. Lin Mo quickly descended and then threw Mu Qianshan straight out, "Go now." Mu Qianshan shouted in midair, "Be careful yourself." After saying that, she took out the Antares scales. But she didn't activate them immediately, instead, she looked at the giant leaf mother tree thousands of meters away. Her gaze was firm, and she made her final decision. She cried out softly, and all the power in her body was unleashed to the limit at this moment. A beam of light shot out, several times faster than the giant leaves, and exploded on the giant leaf mother tree. Lin Mo witnessed an unprecedented, beautiful firework. He didn't expect Mu Qianshan to use a collection spell on the giant leaf mother tree. Lin Mo couldn't help but smile wryly. "Does she believe I can kill it?" The giant leaf mother tree's attention instantly focused on Mu Qianshan, and all the giant leaves flew towards her. At this moment, Mu Qianshan activated the scales and waved her fist at Lin Mo, "Kill it." In the next instant, she disappeared, and all the giant leaves missed and crashed onto the ground. The ground cracked and rumbled. Watching Mu Qianshan leave the team, Lin Mo knew she should be safe. Antares, things should be reliable. Then next, it's my turn. Lin Mo took a deep breath, preparing to fight. After losing its target, the giant leaf mother tree let out a hoarse and unpleasant roar, and its attention once again focused on Lin Mo. A large number of giant leaves flew over, spinning. Lin Mo added the bone armor and lightning undead wings to himself. Suddenly, he saw the information about the lightning undead wings upgrading. The lightning undead wings upgraded from level 2 to level 3. The duration changed to 30 seconds, 30 minutes after amplification. The cooldown time decreased from 9 minutes to 8 minutes. The flight speed increased from 600 meters per second to 700 meters per second. The upgrade came just in time. 35. Lin Mo let out a soft shout and charged towards the giant leaf mother tree. It was too far, 1,000 meters away. If a great battle were to begin now, these giant leaves alone would be enough to cause heavy losses. To deal with it, he needed to get closer, to allow his undead army to unleash its full combat power. Moreover, Lin Mo already had an idea in mind. If it could be done, there might really be a chance to kill it. Curse, army enhancement, I only have one chance, 30 seconds. If I can't kill it in 30 seconds, I can only run. Lin Mo was very clear that with the attack power of his skeletons, he could only break the giant leaf mother tree's defense when both the curse and army enhancement were activated. The time was short, only 30 seconds. Just like killing the Flame Demon King, he had to stun it in one go. Without Mu Qianshan, Lin Mo became much more agile. He shuttled back and forth between the giant leaves, and in the blink of an eye, he was only 200 meters away from the giant leaf mother tree. This distance was almost enough. At this moment, countless vines grew out of the giant leaf mother tree, each vine with a diameter of over 1 meter, sweeping over like a blanket covering the sky. Lin Mo had been hit by it once before, and his skeletal armor shattered directly. He knew how powerful these vines were. With a tap of his finger, the curse of aging was released. The giant leaf mother tree was affected, and its speed suddenly slowed down. At the moment the curse was activated, Lin Mo released his undead army. All the undead army was dispatched, with skeleton maniac mages and sharpshooters scattering madly in all directions. One by one, they flew into the air, forming a three-dimensional encirclement. Skeleton berserkers charged forward frantically. Thousands of skeleton berserkers flew up, and the 200-meter distance was reached in an instant. The giant leaf mother tree was affected by the curse, and its ordinary attack movements slowed down. However, Lin Mo knew that the effect of the curse wouldn't be too great on such an existence, and it definitely had the ability to break through the curse. But Lin Mo didn't give it a chance. The soul fire flickered in his left hand, and the bone prison in his right hand was already thrown out. The giant leaf mother tree paused, and dense white bones grew on its body. The moment it was restrained, all the vines drooped down, losing their movement. Even the giant leaves fell. Its skill was interrupted by the bone prison. But the next second, the bone prison began to crack. The soul fire descended, and the giant leaf mother tree's huge body trembled, obviously in great pain. The bone prison managed to hold on for another half a second because of this. The bone prison lasted for a total of 1.5 seconds, and it interrupted its skill. 5 seconds was enough for Lin Mo to complete the arrangement. At this time, the skeleton berserkers were already in place, with a full 9,000 skeleton berserkers either surrounding it below or climbing on its body. The back of his hand glowed and heated up. The army enhancement skill was suddenly activated. Chapter 446, God-level explosion. You run, I run too. The strongest skill among all of Lin Mo's skills. It was also a skill used when risking his life. Army enhancement. Within 30 seconds, all basic attributes of oneself and summoned creatures are increased by 200%, and the damage caused by all attacks is additionally increased by 500%. Cooldown time is 1 hour. In these 30 seconds, Lin Mo and his undead army's combat power would explode. At the same time as the enhancement skill was activated, all the elemental liches appeared at the same time. Rings of light appeared under the skeletons' feet, and the skeletons' defense was enhanced, and their speed became faster. The giant leaf mother tree suddenly burst into flames. Thunderbolts fell from the sky. Freezing also appeared on its body. And just as Lin Mo finished doing all this, the giant leaf mother tree had just shattered the bone prison. The damage reduction characteristic of the bone prison disappeared at the same time. At the same time, the axes of the skeleton berserkers fell with a red light. Elemental explosions and the sharpshooters' arrows also erupted at this moment. Lin Mo had calculated everything to the extreme, accurate to 0.1 seconds. In this instant, the undead army erupted with amazing attack power. The last time he did this was when dealing with the Flame Demon King. This time it was even more so, with the addition of the elemental liches. At the same time as the undead army launched its attack, Lin Mo also fired with both hands, Soul Fire in his left hand, and Poison Starburst in his right hand. Soul Fire interrupted skills and caused severe pain. Poison Starburst poisoned the giant leaf mother tree, curbing its ability to recover. In the first second of the real battle, Lin Mo completed everything. The giant leaf mother tree burst out with a shocking scream. Who said plants can't scream? It's screaming now. The scream was muffled and hoarse, and Lin Mo felt very uncomfortable, as if his heartbeat was about to stop. The attack in an instant directly severely damaged it. In the second, the giant leaf mother tree, which had turned green all over due to poisoning, began to counterattack in anger. Countless vines flew out, entangling the skeleton warriors wrapped around it. Skill: Death Entanglement. The number of vines was terrifying, not only flying out from its body, but also large tree vines rushing out from the ground, far exceeding the number of the undead army. A large number of giant leaves flew up, flying towards the skeleton great mages and sharpshooters in the air. The posture was like it wanted to wipe out Lin Mo's undead army. It did have the ability to do this. Whether it was vines or giant leaves, the number exceeded the undead army. Lin Mo almost instantly changed from a gang fight to being surrounded. A solidified piece of fire god's essence blood appeared in Lin Mo's hand. The skill was activated, and flames soared into the sky. A flame lich overflowing with divine aura appeared. As soon as the flame lich appeared, the flames on the giant leaf mother tree became even more terrifying. This time the flames contained a divine aura, and the damage was greater than before. The giant leaf mother tree trembled again and again. The flame lich flew towards the giant leaf mother tree extremely fast. The 200-meter distance was reached in an instant. The flame lich was fast, but the giant leaf mother tree's movements were even faster, and all the vines came out to trap the flame lich at once. But in less than 0.1 seconds, the flame lich rushed out. The flames on its body carried divine power, far more powerful than the flames brought by the halo. The flame lich rushed to the giant leaf mother tree's body and crashed into it. The whole person stuck to the giant leaf mother tree and at the same time gave it the divine flame on its body. 2 seconds later, there was a loud bang. The extremely dazzling explosion completely lit up the space. A huge sun seemed to appear on the ground. 36. The flames spread instantly, rushing out in all directions, turning thousands of meters of land into a sea of fire. All the giant leaves in the air burned and fell instantly. The vines were also engulfed and destroyed by the flames. All the skeleton berserkers regained their freedom at this moment. Lin Moi specially selected the largest solidified fire god's essence blood, so the summoned elemental lich was also the strongest. The giant leaf mother tree had turned into a burning tree, standing tall on the earth. However, Lin Moi didn't take it lightly because he didn't receive any kill information at all. The next moment, the giant leaf mother tree suddenly moved. It jumped up violently, its speed reaching the extreme, leaping tens of thousands of meters in a single bound. The flames gradually extinguished during the jump, and Lin Moi saw that it had been burned bald, its body charred black, looking extremely miserable. Even a level 60+ boss has the instinct to escape, let alone this level 86 world boss. Adding up the front and back, it was only 4 seconds. In the first second, it was directly injured under Lin Moi's calculations, and in the fourth second, the flame lich detonated itself with a near-godly attack. After these 2 hits, it was almost dead, so naturally, it had to escape. The instinct to survive made it escape quickly, and Lin Moi also turned around and left, escaping just as fast. Lin Moi wouldn't chase, not to mention he couldn't catch up. Even if he did, 30 seconds would definitely pass. Without the strong soldier state, he would be easy pickings. The two moved away from each other in opposite directions, and in the blink of an eye, they had completely lost sight of each other. Lin Moi flew non-stop, constantly flying in the air. At this moment, every second counted. He was worried that the giant leaf mother tree would turn back and look for him. After all, it was a level 86 world boss, and its recovery ability was quite terrifying. Even with the poison starburst used in the strong soldier state, Lin Moi didn't think it could suppress its recovery ability for long. After flying for several minutes, covering a distance of hundreds of kilometers, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. Looking at the completely changed land beneath his feet, Lin Moi felt that he should have left its sphere of influence. He didn't expect to encounter a level 86 world boss as soon as he arrived in the deep world. This kind of luck was unmatched. Lin Moi once suspected whether Antares had done it on purpose. What good would killing me do for you? Lin Moi thought to himself, feeling that the possibility of Antares doing this wasn't too high. Suddenly, Lin Moi quickly descended, then found a rock and hid. He held his breath, completely concealing his aura. Not long after Lin Moi descended, a giant python flew over the position where he had been. A giant python, over 100 meters long. It was normal for it to fly. Many bosses over level 70 could fly. The key was that the giant python had a pair of claws on its abdomen, and it seemed to have a pair of horns on its head. Lin Moi was a little stunned when he saw it. Why did this giant python look so much like the Jiao from ancient Chinese mythology? In Chinese mythology, snakes and pythons could transform into Jiao if they cultivated successfully. This one looked very similar. Lin Moi didn't use detection technique, so he could only guess. He didn't dare to use detection technique, as it would definitely attract the other party's attention. Now, the strong soldier skill was also on cooldown, and Lin Moi knew his limits. In this state, let alone a level 85 or 86 boss. Even if a level 80 Lord level boss came, it would be enough to give him a hard time. Moreover, judging from the other party's size and feeling its aura, it wasn't much weaker than the giant leaf mother tree. Seeing it fly away without noticing him, Lin Moi breathed a sigh of relief. What the hell is this place? Why are there bosses everywhere? The lower space that teacher mentioned doesn't seem this dangerous. In the White God courtyard, Bai Yiyuan had been back for a few days. He didn't mind when he heard that Lin Moi had gone to the ancient battlefield, as he had known about it for a long time. But today, he suddenly felt a little uneasy, as if something bad was about to happen. Old Meng, I'm a little uneasy. Did something happen to Xiao Yu in the ancient battlefield? Meng Anwen chuckled, worry makes you confused. With Xiao Yu's strength, Not to mention the core area, even the lower space, as long as it's not those few places, he'll be fine. Bai Yiyuan knew that this was true. He was also clear about Lin Moi's strength. But he still felt uneasy and couldn't calm down even after drinking a few sips of tea. Old Meng, sense it. Lin Moi had Meng Anwen's teleportation stone with him, which would have a connection with the Divine Sha Tower. Even if Lin Moi put the teleportation stone in his storage space, it couldn't block this feeling. Meng Anwen couldn't do anything about Bai Yiyuan, so he summoned the Divine Sha Tower and sensed it carefully. After sensing it, his face immediately turned ugly. Bai Yiyuan asked when he saw this, "What's wrong?" Meng Anwen sensed it carefully again. "Xiao Yu really went to the lower space." Bai Yiyuan asked, "Can you sense where he is in the lower space?" In the lower space, Lin Moi wouldn't be in too much danger except for a few special places. The key was still the Abyss Demons and the Dragon Race. If he encountered some level 80 plus Abyss Demons and Dragon Race, there might still be trouble. Meng Anwen sensed it carefully, his expression still not good. It seems to be near the Wild Continent. Bai Yiyuan jumped up violently. "Send me to the deep space, quickly." Chapter 447, Mysterious Green Pool. Lin Moi had not really learned about the lower space. Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan also thought it was too early, so they had not told Lin Moi about the lower space. The lower space is slightly different from the upper space. The world of the lower space is composed of several continents. Each continent is separated by either a boundless ocean or an endless void. To get from one continent to another, you need to use various methods. There are powerful sea monsters in the ocean, and there are flying monsters in the air. Some endless voids are even air-restricted and cannot be flown through. The environment of the lower space is far more harsh and complex than that of the upper space. According to Meng Anwen's perception, the continent Lin Moi is currently on is called the Wild Continent. This is a paradise for monsters, with bosses everywhere and many terrifying monsters. Generally, top professionals above level 70 will not go there. Only some top professionals will team up to venture there, kill bosses, and harvest equipment. Even with Lin Moi's strength, if he gets caught in it, the danger is not small. That's why Bai Yiyuan was so anxious. The first thing he thought of was to go to the deep space, find a space-time channel in the deep space to go to the lower space, and then rush to the Wild Continent to find Lin Moi. Meng Anwen looked at Bai Yiyuan and did not move. Bai Yiyuan was anxious and urged, "What are you doing? Hurry up and set up the teleportation." Meng Anwen shook his head and sighed softly. "What's the hurry? What's the use of you going? Listen to me, don't go." Bai Yiyuan looked at Meng Anwen blankly. "Why?" 37. Meng Anwen said, You're just clouded by concern. Don't forget what Xiao Yu is doing in the eternal battlefield. She's there to trade with that person, to deliver something for the God of Righteousness. Then think again, why would Xiao Yu appear in the lower plane? It must be that person who made the move, sending Xiao Yu to the lower plane. This must be some kind of deal they've made. Let me ask you, do you and I have the ability to send Xiao Yu to the lower plane? Lin Mo Yu is only level 50 now, so it is impossible for him to enter the lower plane. Even Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan don't have the ability to send him there. The only person in the entire human race who can do this is the old man in the God Creation Academy. Bai Yiyuan instinctively shook his head, he really couldn't do it. Meng Anwen said, since that's the case, then the answer is obvious. Xiao Yu didn't accidentally enter the lower plane. So you don't need to worry about Xiao Yu's safety, with that person there, Xiao Yu will be fine. Even if you go, you might not be able to bring Xiao Yu back, and you might even upset that person. Understand? Meng Anwen had analyzed it to this extent, how could Bai Yiyuan not understand? Meng Anwen convinced Bai Yiyuan and also calmed Bai Yiyuan down. Although he still felt a little uneasy, at least he wouldn't act rashly again. It has to be said that Meng Anwen's analysis was very reasonable, and there were no logical problems. But this time, his analysis was wrong. Bai Yiyuan asked, you said, what is the God of Righteousness trying to do by having Xiao Yu send that beat over? Meng Anwen chuckled, what else could it be for, to revive him? The God of Righteousness was level 98 back then, a demigod, you could say he was comparable to the old man. If he wants to revive, even the old man doesn't have that ability. The only one who can revive a demigod is that person. Meng Anwen said, perhaps soon, our human race will have another demigod. It's just that whether this is a good thing or a bad thing is hard to say. Bai Yiyuan pondered for a moment. Overall, it should be a good thing, at least the strength of the human race will increase a lot. Having one more demigod is more useful than having 10 more gods. I hope so. Meng Anwen sighed softly. Eternal battlefield, lower plane, wild continent. Lin Moyu didn't know the name of the place he was in. He left the territory of the giant leaf mother tree, avoiding the flying dragon that soared into the distance. He had already realized that the area he was in was unusual and extremely unsafe. He restrained all his aura, and acted cautiously here. The area he was in was full of rocks, the small ones were taller than people, and the large ones were like small mountains, more than 100 meters high. They were not mountains, just rocks, extremely large rocks. The shapes of the rocks were strange and varied. Some rocks were extremely sharp at both ends, one end inserted into the earth like a sharp sword, and the other end pointed straight to the sky. The middle was bulging and fat. Some monsters lived here, and Lin Moyu had seen a few from a distance. He chose to avoid them if he could. Most of these monsters were serpentine, and Lin Moyu was afraid that if he beat the small ones, the old ones would come. Just like with the giant leaf dwarf tree, he beat the giant leaf dwarf tree, and as a result, he attracted the giant leaf mother tree. At this time, he missed the purification potion a little. These monsters were obviously a little sensitive to aura, and Lin Moyu was almost discovered several times. Not by being seen, but by having his aura sensed. If he had a purification potion on him, purifying all the messy smells on his body, it would be much better. Lin Moyu walked through the rocks, his mental power spread out like flowing water, allowing him to detect the existence of monsters in time and avoid them in time. The temperature was gradually rising. Before, in the territory of the giant leaf dwarf tree, the temperature was extremely low, not exceeding 10 degrees. But now it was at least above 20 degrees, and as he moved forward, the temperature continued to rise. In the distance, Lin Moyu saw trails of light green smoke slowly rising into the sky, forming a pillar of air. The air column formed a green air mass in midair, which lingered for a long time. The air began to fill with a slightly fishy and smelly odor. The fishy and smelly odor seemed to cover up the smell of Lin Moyu, an outsider, which greatly reduced his sense of presence and reduced the possibility of being discovered. Lin Moyu was considering whether to go over. An unusual environment would inevitably have unusual things. Lin Moyu wasn't sure whether going there would be safe or even more dangerous. After hesitating for a few seconds, Lin Moyu decided to go and see. But not by himself, but by taking a skeleton. A skeleton berserker appeared silently beside him, and then ran towards the place where the green smoke was rising. Ask for flowers. Through the perspective of the skeleton berserker, although it couldn't be compared to seeing it with his own eyes, at least he could sense a general idea. The skeleton berserker inevitably made a crackling sound, which immediately attracted the attention of some monsters. Besides snakes, there were no other kinds of monsters here. Snakes of different sizes, thicknesses, lengths, and types. After hearing the sound, many monsters came out one by one and swam after the skeleton berserker. The appearance was like the skeleton berserker was pulling monsters. The skeleton berserker ran very fast, completely ignoring the group of snakes chasing behind him. It faithfully carried out Lin Moyu's order and went to the place where the green smoke was rising. Lin Moyu suddenly discovered some scenes that were different from what he imagined. Many snakes that were chasing the skeleton berserker suddenly stopped. As the skeleton berserker got closer and closer to the green smoke, more and more snakes stopped. Lin Moyu discovered that the smallest snakes were the first to stop. The larger the size, the later they stopped. After stopping, the snakes still stared at the skeleton berserker, but did not take another step forward. In other words, the smaller the snake, the more afraid it is to approach the green smoke. It seems like there is a very clear hierarchy. Lin Moyu could only distinguish them by size because he didn't use detection skills. Generally speaking, the larger the size, the higher the level and the stronger the strength. The stronger the strength, the closer they can get to the green smoke. Lin Moyu became more and more curious about what was in the green smoke that could make these snakes dare not approach. In this way, as long as I can run to the green smoke, wouldn't I be able to get rid of these snakes? In the skeleton berserker's sensory world, he finally saw the green smoke. At this time, only 2 snakes were chasing behind it. These 2 were both over 10 meters in size, and belonged to the behemoth type among the many snakes. It wouldn't be strange if a boss grew up like this, but it was very strange for ordinary monsters to be so huge. The green smoke was coming out of a pool of water, and the pool was constantly emitting smoky gas, rising green smoke. At the moment of seeing the green smoke, the skeleton berserker's body was suddenly dyed with a layer of green, and suffered some damage. Poisoned. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. The skeleton berserker was actually poisoned, and the toxicity was not weak. The last two big snakes also stopped. They didn't seem to want to approach the green pool either, and stopped at the place where they would be poisoned if they took another step forward. It seemed like there was an invisible line that separated the poisonous and non-toxic areas. 38. The skeleton berserker was already poisoned, and there was no way to recall it. Fortunately, with complete connection, the damage taken by the skeleton berserker was shared by all the undead. There wouldn't be any danger in the short term. Lin Moyu simply let it continue to approach, wanting to see what was going on. In this area full of rubble, the sudden appearance of such a pool of highly poisonous green water made Lin Moyu feel somewhat mysterious and unusual. Chapter 448. To snatch or not to snatch, that is the question. In a world of only rocks and barrenness, a pool of green water suddenly appeared, emitting poisonous smoke and miasma. It felt strange and unusual. Especially the reactions of these monsters were even more so. Monsters above level 70, even if they were just ordinary monsters, had a bit of instinct. Their instincts allowed them to sense danger and not seek death. The closer the skeleton got to the pool, the deeper the poison became, and the damage increased. The pool was only 10 meters in diameter. It could be called a pool or a small pond. Inside was green venom, constantly bubbling. The closer to the center, the darker the color and the stronger the toxicity. The very center had turned dark ink. Green to the point of being black and purple. The skeleton stood by the pool and looked around. It was empty all around, without a single living thing. Not to mention living things, there wasn't even a boulder. It seemed like even the stones had been corroded. The stones here were very solid, far superior to steel. Lin Moyu had no ability to destroy them, feeling that the stones were even harder than the earth in the core area of the upper space. But obviously, years of toxins had destroyed these stones. All the monsters stayed away from here, not even daring to approach. Where the toxicity spread, it was a dead zone. The water at the edge of the pool was light green and a bit transparent, allowing one to see the bottom. Through some light, Lin Moyu saw that there seemed to be something at the bottom of the water. Something that could exist in poisonous water. The skeleton squatted down and put its finger into the pool. Sizzle. Green smoke rose, and a large amount of toxins poured in. The water in the pool was much more poisonous than the smoke outside. The skeleton immediately suffered considerable damage. This damage was simultaneously transferred to all the undead. With over 27,000 brothers helping to share the burden, it ignored the existence of the poison in a short time. The skeleton reached into the pool and took out something Lin Moyu had seen earlier. What was at the bottom of the water was a crystal-clear crystal. Lin Moyu's eyes showed some shock. Poison crystal. It was the poison crystal he had once obtained from the earth-touching dragon god. Later, he never had the chance to find it. Unexpectedly, he obtained another one here, and it didn't take any effort at all. Looking at the pool, there was more than one poison crystal. And the closer to the center, the more there were. Lin Moyu even felt that there was a high possibility that there would be legendary level poison element materials in the center. As the skeleton took the poison crystal in its hand, the snake-like monsters that had stopped outside suddenly moved. They stood up one after another, pairs of snake eyes staring at the poison crystal in the skeleton's hand, revealing a look of desire. Obviously, they wanted to obtain the poison crystal, but they were afraid of the poisonous smoke and dared not approach. But even if they approached, what could they do? The poison crystal was under the pool, and they couldn't get it. They didn't even dare to approach, let alone enter the water. The toxicity in the water was much stronger than the poisonous smoke. Lin Moyu ignored these snake-like monsters. He was thinking about another question. Should I go to the center of the poison pool to see what's inside? And how to bring the poison crystal back? Killing these monsters was not difficult, the difficulty was whether it would attract the boss. Lin Moyu dared not underestimate the 100-meter flying dragon. If they fought, it would definitely be a desperate fight again. At this moment, the earth suddenly shook several times, making a low, muffled rumbling sound. It was as if something had exploded underground. For a time, a large number of rustling sounds rang out in his ears. Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly narrowed, and he found that all the snake-like monsters in this area were collectively dispatched. Dense monsters crawled out from under the stones, corners, and cracks. They crawled quickly on the ground, and their only target was the poison pool. What's going on? Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed, and his scalp tingled as he watched. There were too many snake monsters within sight, far more than 10,000. Probably more than 100,000. He firmly restrained his aura, not making a sound. At this time, all the snake monsters, large and small, were running in the direction of the poison pool. Lin Moyu knew that something must have happened, and it should be related to the vibration just now. The snake monsters were all monsters above level 70, and their speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, they had surrounded the poison pool, making it impenetrable. They were also the same as before, based on their strength and size, the positions they stood in were very hierarchical and distinct. And the skeleton berserker standing by the poison pool seemed so abrupt. However, now the snake monsters' attention was not on the skeleton berserker, and even the poison crystal in its hand was somewhat ignored. Almost all the snake monsters looked at the sky, as if there was something in the sky. There was nothing in the sky except for dim, mottled light. After a few seconds, another muffled sound came from the ground. The muffled sound extended all the way to the poison pool, and the water surface in the poison pool suddenly began to undulate. First, a large number of bubbles emerged and shattered, and the poisonous gas was several times more concentrated than before. Then the bubbles disappeared at the same time, and the water surface sank slightly. This continued for a few seconds. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, the poisonous water in the poison pool shot into the sky like a fountain. A large number of poison crystals were brought out and fell in all directions. The snake monsters began to go crazy, and they jumped up one after another to snatch the poison crystals. Lin Moyu did not allow the skeleton berserker to make any movements, allowing the poisonous water to sprinkle on its body, making a sizzling sound, accompanied by thick light smoke. The poisonous water mixed with poison crystals fell like raindrops. The snake monsters were obviously very afraid of the poisonous water, but for the sake of the poison crystals, they had gone crazy. 39. More than 100,000 snake monsters were frantically fighting and twisting together, vying for the poisonous crystal. Some snake monsters flew high and swallowed a fist-sized poisonous crystal in one gulp. In less than half a second, another huge snake monster swallowed it whole. Some were lucky enough to swallow the poisonous crystal and quickly move away, escaping quickly. No matter how many of their kind were chasing behind, they didn't look back. Before long, its body glowed, its size increased, and its strength became stronger. The poisonous crystal had been digested and had taken effect. It turned its head again and continued to compete for other poisonous crystals. Lin Moyu was shocked to see that this fight was so naked. For the sake of upgrading, they disregarded their own kind. Boom! Another water column shot into the sky, spraying out a large number of poisonous crystals again. The snake monsters fell into contention again. Some poisonous crystals fell beside the skeleton, and the skeleton picked it up casually. The skeleton walked along the edge of the poisonous pool, picking up a full 7 poisonous crystals. The edge of the poisonous pool was a pure land. No matter how fiercely the snake monsters were fighting, none of them approached the poisonous pool. The poisonous pool sprayed several times in a row, and sprayed out a large number of poisonous crystals again. The skeleton had 10 poisonous crystals in its hand. Now the only problem is how to get it to bring the poisonous crystal back. The outside is full of snake monsters, and if the skeleton dares to come out, it will inevitably be swallowed. Unless Lin Moyu takes action and kills all these snake monsters. After 5 consecutive sprays, the poisonous pool seemed to have returned to calm. But at this moment, another muffled sound rang from the earth, even heavier than before. Lin Moyu was shocked. It seems it's not over yet. Suddenly, the sky went dark. The already dim sky became even darker. The snake monsters that were fighting desperately also quieted down in an instant. An behemoth appeared in the air at some unknown time. The flying dragon Lin Moyu had seen before had arrived. It lowered its head, looking at the snake monsters that had died and been injured in the fight for the poisonous crystal, with disdain in its eyes. Then it saw the skeleton standing by the poisonous pool. A trace of curiosity flashed in its eyes, and it opened its mouth and sucked fiercely. The skeleton was suddenly sucked over uncontrollably. The skeleton fell into its mouth. It closed its mouth and bit down, and terrifying power acted on the skeleton 2.7. With a crack, the skeleton instantly fell apart. The skeleton died, and the poisonous crystal it had just obtained also fell down. Lin Moyu had expected this result. It's really an unreasonable way to attack. The comprehensive connection talent lost its effect again, making Lin Moyu very helpless. These boss always have one or two skills that ignore their talents. It can only be said that these monsters are too strong, either the instantaneous attack power is too strong, so the talent has no time to play a role. Or they have some unique abilities that can cross their talents. The flying dragon took 2 bites and found that the skeleton was not tasty, so it spit it out again. Boom! A fountain erupted from the center of the poisonous pool, larger than before. In the fountain, Lin Moyu saw a mass of green substance. It looked like concentrated venom, which was more profound and powerful than the poisonous crystal. It exudes a terrifying aura of poisonous elements. It seems to be some kind of poisonous element material, at least of legendary level. At this moment, he had the urge to snatch it. Snatch it or not? That's a question. Chapter 449. You dare to swallow this, are you so suicidal? The poisonous water rolled like a fountain. That piece of poisonous element material, at least of legendary level, spewed out with the poisonous water. The flying dragon's gaze was completely focused on it. Needless to say, the flying dragon's purpose here was for it. A breeze flew by silently. A essence blood of the poison goda. A essence blood of the poison god. Used by poison-type professions, it can greatly increase the probability of profession sublimation during the 3rd job change. It can also be used to enhance poison-type skills. A. Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly shrank. Essence blood of the poison god. The essence blood of the gods, and not the solidified kind. Snatch it or not? This question was answered in 0.1 seconds. Snatch. Lightning undead wings appeared behind him, and Lin Moyu rushed over like lightning. Now that he was going to snatch it, he no longer had any scruples, and directly threw a detection spell on the flying dragon. Since he was going to fight, he should first understand himself and his enemy. A poisonous flood dragon, world-class boss A. A level, 85 A. A strength, 1,500,000 A. A agility, 1,700,000 A. A spirit, 1,000,000 A. A constitution, 1,700,000 A. A skills, death hiss, ruthless devour, terrifying venoma. A characteristics, 50% reduction in physical damage, 85% reduction in poison element damage. And level 85 world-class boss, with a total of 5.9 million attributes, 300,000 less than the giant leaf mother tree. However, its agility is very high, so it will probably be very flexible. Unlike the giant leaf mother tree, which just stands there and lets itself be attacked. If you want to fight, you must first restrict its 28 flexibility. Lin Moyu decided to adopt the same strategy as dealing with the giant leaf mother tree. Use the A Strong Soldier's skill to cause huge damage in a short period of time. See if you can scare it away, or even kill it. After all, its recovery power is not as good as the giant leaf mother tree, and it does not have the life force enhancement characteristics, so you still have a chance. A poisonous flood dragon saw Lin Moyu, showing disdain in its eyes, opened its mouth and sucked, and immediately wanted to suck away the essence blood of the poison god. Since Lin Moyu took action, how could it be sucked away by it? Otherwise, what would be the point of taking action? Right hand pointed. Skill, Curse of Aging. 40. The curse descended, and the venomous serpent's movements immediately slowed down. But that wasn't enough. Flames flickered in Lin Moyu's left hand. Skill, Soul Flame. The venomous serpent immediately let out a miserable scream, and the suction force was instantly interrupted. The skeleton archmages appeared densely packed, beginning their attack. Elemental explosions erupted on the venomous serpent. The venomous serpent's body glowed with green light, and poisonous gas filled the air, keeping the elemental explosions at bay. With its defense, elemental explosions in a simple state of aging curse were not enough to break through its defenses. Lin Moyu's purpose was not to injure it, but to block its line of sight. The target he had the skeleton archmages aim at was precisely the venomous serpent's eyes. In the final analysis, the purpose was to buy time. The venomous serpent reacted extremely quickly. Although it was hindered, it could still find the parking spot for the venom god's essence blood. It opened its mouth and bit down. Since it couldn't suck it away, it would swallow it itself. Lin Moyu pointed again, activating a skill. The venomous serpent froze in midair in an instant. Its body was covered in dense white bones, and the bone prison bound it in midair. In just half a second, the white bones on its body began to rot. After a second, the bone prison completely shattered. The venomous serpent had extremely powerful toxicity that could corrode everything. The bone dungeon could only last for a second. But for Lin Moyu, a second was long enough. With 2 interceptions, a total of more than 2 seconds had been delayed. In those 2 seconds, Lin Moyu had flown over 1400 meters, arriving in front of the venomous serpent. Lin Moyu flew in front of the venom god's essence blood, waved his hand, and put it into his storage space. The essence blood was snatched away, and the venomous serpent, which had just broken free, immediately let out an angry cry. The guy who was like an ant in its eyes actually dared to steal its things. Seeing the duck that was about to be eaten fly away, the venomous serpent completely exploded in anger. It suddenly opened its mouth, erupting with amazing suction. Lin Moyu was immediately sucked over. Its eyes were bloodthirsty, and the dense sharp teeth in its mouth were covered with poisonous light, wanting to bite Lin Moyu into pieces. Lin Moyu was very calm and didn't panic at all. Runes flickered on the back of his hand, and the army enhancement skill, which had long finished cooling down, was suddenly activated, pushing Lin Moyu and the Undead Legion's combat power to the peak. The skeleton archmages and sharpshooters launched a full-scale attack on the venomous serpent's mouth. In the army enhancement skill state, the damage increased dramatically by more than 10 times, instantly breaking through the defenses. The venomous serpent was beaten so hard that its head tilted back, and the suction force was also interrupted. Lin Moyu released all the skeleton berserkers at this time. At the same time, all the elemental liches were released. Circles of light appeared under the skeleton's feet. For a time, the entire field was filled with sparks and lightning. The attack targets of the halos were not only the venomous serpent but also some of the nearby snake monsters. The range of the halos could be thousands of meters in radius. The skeleton archmages and sharpshooters were relatively behind, and their halos would also cover some snake monsters. The moment the skeleton berserkers appeared, Lin Moyu pointed again, using the bone prison for the second time. The bone prison was not an attack skill and was not affected by the army enhancement skill. It could still only buy Lin Moyu a short 1 second. But that was enough. What he needed was this second. This second was enough for the skeleton berserkers to pounce on it. A full 9,000 skeleton berserkers pounced on the venomous serpent like wolves, ignoring the violent poison, and directly swung their axes to unleash their skills. Having had the experience of fighting the giant leaf mother tree, Lin Moyu was very clear that to deal with enemies of this level, you have to kill them with one blow and not give them any chance. As long as you let them recover, you will be the one who dies. When the axes fell, exactly 1 second had passed, and the bone prison shattered. The solid scales on the venomous serpent's body were chopped to pieces, and fragments flew everywhere. The venomous serpent immediately let out a shocking scream. The concentrated attack of a full 9,000 skeleton berserkers severely injured it. The strongest skill entered cooldown, and the skeleton berserkers had completed their mission. The skeleton berserkers turned and flew towards the snake monster swarm. In the army enhancement state, these ordinary snake monsters were no match for the skeleton berserkers. Without skills, killing them was as easy as slaughtering chickens. The venomous serpent suddenly counterattacked in its screams, spraying out a massive amount of venom. Lin Moyu's face changed drastically, and he immediately pulled up to avoid it. Some skeleton berserkers who did not dodge were hit by the venom and immediately rotted all over. They died in less than a second. The poison attribute was too strong, not giving the talent any chance. Lin Moyu's heart suddenly thumped. He seemed to understand why his talent was bored. An answer popped up in his mind, and Lin Moyu felt that it should be the correct answer. The skeleton berserkers scattered quickly, but many were still hit by the venom and died instantly. This time, more than 1,000 skeleton berserkers died. After spraying the venom, green gas emerged from the venomous serpent's body, and its wounds were recovering quickly. Lin Moyu's face changed, and a flash of fire appeared in Lin Moyu's hand. Using the solidified fire god's essence blood, he summoned the god-level flame lich again. The god-level flame lich appeared and quickly rushed towards the venomous serpent. The venomous serpent immediately spewed venom at the flame lich. The flame lich was rising with near-divine flames. The venom was burned into gas before it even got close. In order to prevent it from escaping, Lin Moyu used the bone prison for the third time. But this time, the bone prison did not work at all. The white bones shattered before they could even be woven. The poisonous gas on the venomous serpent's body had formed an invisible shield. After suffering 2 big losses from the bone prison, the venomous serpent had mastered the corresponding countermeasures. The bone prison completely lost its restrictive effect. It's really not easy to deal with. Try this. Lin Moyu thought to himself, and a flash of fire jumped in his hand. Soul flame appeared again. The venomous serpent roared sharply and sucked in a mouthful. A completely different suction force from before. Before, it was just a casual suck, a normal attack. Now it was activating a skill. 41. Skill, Ruthless Devour. A terrifying suction force swept over like a whirlwind. The skeleton berserker, who had just left, flew back even faster. Even the flame lich, who was flying over, was no exception and was sucked in by the venomous serpent dragon. Originally, Lin Moyu was preparing to let it taste the soul flame that had been enhanced more than tenfold, but upon seeing this, he immediately stopped. It dares to swallow even this, is it really courting death? Lin Moyu muttered to himself, counting down in his heart while quickly moving away. 3, 2, the venomous serpent dragon continued to activate its skill, sucking the skeleton berserker over. The skeleton berserker had injured it the most just now, and it hated it the most. Lin Moyu was already moving away, and the countdown in his mouth had ended. Boom! In the earth-shattering loud noise, a towering flame rose from the venomous serpent dragon's body. The flame lich had exploded inside its body. At this time, some of the skeleton berserkers had already rushed into the serpent monster group and began to massacre them. Chapter 450. The corpses are mine, it's not your turn. The fire illuminated the earth, and a huge fireball appeared in the air. Heart-wrenching screams echoed. The skeleton berserkers turned a blind eye and continued to kill the serpent monsters. Under the enhanced troops state, coupled with the aging curse given by Lin Moyu, these level 70+ ordinary monsters appeared extremely fragile. They were not bosses, and their vitality was far less powerful than bosses. Their attributes were even more different, one after another falling under the axes of the skeleton berserkers. Lin Moyu ignored the venomous serpent dragon that was burning fiercely in the air and flew down. A roaring sound rang out. The serpent monsters were too dense, and just one corpse explosion resulted in countless deaths and injuries. Then, a large number of corpses were thrown into the air, directly thrown next to the venomous serpent dragon. Lin Moyu detonated them in midair. Waves of explosions engulfed the venomous serpent dragon. Lin Moyu was very clear about how strong a level 85 world boss was. Even if the skeleton berserkers' focused fire skill severely injured it, and then it swallowed the flame lich, causing it to explode from the inside, and there were continuous attacks from the skeleton archmage and sharpshooter. With all these combined, Lin Moyu still believed that it was not enough to kill it. Corpse explosion would become the last sharp sword in Lin Moyu's hand, the sword to kill it. Level 7 corpse explosion was 24 times the corpse's health. Coupled with the enhanced troops skills 500% damage increase, and the increase from the aging curse. The skill damage exceeded 100 times the corpse's health, reaching an unprecedented level. In the waves of explosions, the firelight was scattered. Lin Moyu saw the extremely miserable appearance of the venomous serpent dragon. Its whole body was charred black, and there wasn't a single piece of good flesh inside or out. The licious self-explosion took place inside its body, causing great damage to it. The venomous mist on its body had been completely blasted away, losing its defensive layer. It screamed miserably and turned to flee. This time, Lin Moyu didn't plan to let it go, and the soul flame fell the moment it started to move. The venomous serpent dragon finally tasted what true pain was. Pain from the soul, 10 times the previous soul burn. It screamed and fell from the air, directly smashing onto the ground. The skeleton berserkers had long been prepared, and one by one, they flew over with the corpses of serpent monsters, landing on the venomous serpent dragon's body. At the same time, Lin Moyu ordered the skeleton berserkers inside the venomous serpent dragon's body to attack. At least 2,000 skeleton berserkers had been swallowed by it just now. Originally, these skeleton berserkers should have died, dying under the venomous serpent dragon's skill. There was extremely strong venom in the venomous serpent dragon's body, enough to kill the skeleton berserkers. However, with the flame lich's explosion, its skill was interrupted, and the venom was incinerated. The flame lich's self-explosion ignored friend and foe, and while injuring the venomous serpent dragon, it was also enough to kill the skeleton berserkers. At this time, the undead aura of the undead lich played a role. Undead aura. All undead legion members will not die when they receive their first fatal blow. The aura will restore 50% of their health. Aura cooldown time, 24 hours. In the explosion, the aura exploded, pulling the skeleton berserkers back from the brink of death. So at this moment, inside the venomous serpent dragon's body, there were still more than 2,000 skeleton berserkers alive. And they were skeleton berserkers with the enhanced troops state. This was also one of the reasons why Lin Muyu felt that he could kill the venomous serpent dragon. As soon as these skeleton berserkers attacked, they immediately caused terrifying damage to the venomous serpent dragon from the inside. The venomous serpent dragon rolled on the ground, and the severe pain prevented it from taking off and counter-attacking. Lin Muyu's expression was solemn, and he continuously detonated the corpses. Intense explosions occurred one after another. Lin Muyu used both hands, and in a short 20 seconds, he detonated hundreds of serpent monster corpses. The venomous serpent dragon was completely blasted out of shape. Before it died, it even took a look at Lin Muyu. It simply couldn't imagine that it would die in the hands of such a little guy. It whimpered twice in its mouth, and finally closed its eyes. Killed venomous serpent dragon, experience plus. Obtained venomous serpent dragon short sword. Obtained venomous serpent dragon heavy armor. Obtained venomous poison crystal. Obtained venomous divine stone. Venomous serpent dragon short sword. Quasi-legendary weapon, all attributes plus 80,000, assassin class skill amplification plus 150%. Comes with skill, fatal venom. Fatal venom. Attacks are accompanied by venomous elements, poisoning the target, dealing damage equivalent to 10,000 points of strength per second, lasting for 10 seconds. Poison damage and duration can be stacked and accumulated without limit. Venomous serpent dragon heavy armor. Quasi-legendary armor, all attributes plus 50,000, all damage reduced by 20%, venomous element immunity increased by 50%. Venomous poison crystal. Legendary material, a crystal filled with venomous elements, which can be used to create legendary equipment. Venomous divine stone. Permanently increases venomous element immunity to 80%, with a chance to obtain a venomous element skill. Quasi-legendary equipment is between legendary equipment and platinum equipment. It is also the weapon equipment used by most professionals above level 70. After completing the third job advancement at level 70, the bonus of platinum equipment is no longer enough, unless it has excellent skills, otherwise it is useless. At this time, it is necessary to replace it with quasi-legendary equipment. As for the real legendary equipment, it is too difficult to obtain. Only killing those world bosses above level 90 has a chance to obtain it. There are not many in the human race either. This quasi-legendary venomous serpent dragon short sword, which came from a level 85 world boss, has quite powerful attributes. Coupled with the skill fatal venom, it is even more perfect. Damage of 10,000 strength per second, lasting for 10 seconds, doesn't seem too strong at first glance. But it can be stacked infinitely without limit. 42. This is the truly twisted part. Based on the assassin's attack speed, dozens of attacks per second are easy, instantly causing massive damage. In comparison, the poisonous dragon heavy armor is much inferior. It doesn't come with any skills, and it's not even as good as some platinum equipment. Attached skills are very important, extremely important, for equipment of this level. The poisonous crystal stone is a legendary material, one level higher than the poisonous crystal. Alchemists and blacksmiths can use it to forge legendary equipment, but it requires alchemists or blacksmiths of level 80 or higher. And success cannot be guaranteed, it is very likely to fail. There are not many alchemists and blacksmiths of this level among the humans, which is one of the reasons for the scarcity of legendary equipment. But for Lin Muyu, the poisonous crystal stone is used to summon an elemental lich. But he doesn't need it now, at least until after level 70. Firstly, the slots are full, and secondly, if summoned, it is very likely to self-destruct. The last gain is the poisonous divine stone. Compared to the poisonous gemstone, it has an 80% immunity to poison elements, and there is also a chance to awaken poison-type skills. Even if it doesn't successfully awaken a skill, the 80% poison element immunity alone is attractive enough. But now is not the time to use it, the battle is not completely over. After the poisonous flood dragon died, more than 2,000 skeleton berserkers in the poisonous flood dragon's body tore it open and rushed out. Also rushing out was a flame lich. Compared to the collectively poisoned skeleton berserkers, the flame lich was not poisoned. All the toxins were burned away before they could get close to it. After the poisonous flood dragon died, the snake monsters did not flee, but became even more excited. They seemed to have broken through their fear of the poisonous smoke, and regardless of the skeleton berserkers, they pounced over frantically. At first, Lin Muyu thought they were going to avenge their leader. But after taking a closer look, he realized that was not the case. These snake monsters had a look of excitement in their eyes. That was a kind of excitement that was even more exciting than seeing the poisonous crystal. Lin Muyu immediately understood that they wanted to eat the poisonous flood dragon. Although the poisonous flood dragon was dead, its body still possessed immense energy. Eating it could allow the snake monsters to evolve. Mom is good, even become the second poisonous flood dragon. Monsters after level 70 possess weak intelligence and instinct. They know what is good for them. Lin Muyu also understood one thing: these snake monsters were not afraid of the poisonous smoke. They could evolve by eating poisonous crystals. How could they be afraid of poisonous smoke? It was probably the poisonous flood dragon who gave the order, not allowing them to approach the poisonous pool. Now that the poisonous flood dragon was dead, the order naturally became invalid. The corpse is mine, it's not your turn. 1/2. In Lin Muyu's eyes, the corpse of the poisonous flood dragon was his, not these snake monsters. The skeletons changed their target and began to massacre the snake monsters. Now the ground is covered with corpses that were blown up earlier. Without the need for the skeletons to act, Lin Muyu tapped his fingers repeatedly, and explosions swept across the area. Killed level 72 5-step poisonous snake, experience plus 4,320,000. Killed level 75 blue-green poisonous python, experience plus 4,500,000. Killed level 78 blue-eyed green snake, experience plus 4,680,000. For a time, experience rose like a rocket. There were countless snake monsters here. They were crazy, and Lin Muyu's experience was even crazier. Chapter 451. The poisonous dragon is full of treasures. The poisonous flood dragon's attraction was too strong. The snake monsters rushed over madly, disregarding life and death. The attraction of evolution had surpassed their instinctual fear of life and death. Lin Muyu was thoroughly enjoying the explosions. Experience was rising like a rocket. Each time a skill was released, hundreds of monsters above level 70 were killed. The snake monsters were like lining up to die. Lin Muyu hadn't felt this good since the job change. In just a few minutes, his experience had risen by 50%. After level 50, in the core area of the upper space, all the way to Antares' place, it took more than half a month to gain only 20% of experience. After entering the lower space, a large number of giant leaf dwarf trees gave him nearly 5% of experience. Now the experience has reached 80%. That is to say, these snake monsters contributed more than 50% of the experience points. Looking at the snake monsters still rushing over madly, Lin Muyu knew that he could level up. After level 50, the leveling speed is greatly reduced. Many people can only level up once every few months. Even leveling up once a year is normal. Which top professional is not middle-aged? Even geniuses like Meng Anwen and Bai Yiyuan were the pride of that era. It was only after the age of 30 that they became top professionals. As for stepping into the god level, it was even after the age of 50. Lin Muyu knew that his current leveling speed was already very amazing, and it was rare in human history. An amazing leveling speed like Lin Muyu's, let alone Lin Muyu heard 137 unheard of, even in human history has never appeared. The snake monsters came one after another, and Lin Muyu felt comfortable all over from the explosions. However, Lin Muyu also discovered a situation. This land is really too solid. From the great battle just now until now, I don't know how many waves of explosions have occurred. There is not even a pit in the earth. Even the nearby stones shrouded in the explosion are also intact. This kind of solidity is itself unusual. Not only this land, now that I think about it, the land under the giant leaf dwarf tree is also like this. Solid in an unusual way. And yet, that poisonous pool corroded the earth. And this corrosion is still continuing. Lin Muyu had a guess in his heart, and felt that the vibration of the earth seemed to be to drive something out of the poisonous pool. As for whether this guess is accurate, it is still difficult to say now and needs to be verified. The corpses had long been piled up like mountains. No matter which direction the snake monsters came from, whether they were from the ground or the air, they could not cross the thunder pool half a step. Lin Moyu guarded here, impassable. A large amount of bloody smell permeated this land. Covering the smell of poisonous smoke, it also awakened the instincts of the snake monsters. Finally, some snake monsters began to retreat. Fewer and fewer snake monsters rushed over. 43. Their instincts were telling them not to go over there, that going over there would mean certain death. Lin Moyu's body glowed with white light as he finally leveled up. He reached level 51. All attributes were improved, with the total attributes increasing by 16,350, reaching 455,164. Compared to other classes, the increase was astonishing. Other mid-tier legendary class holders, between levels 50 and 59, had a total attribute increase of around 10000 per level up. He was more than 6,000 higher than them, exceeding them by 60%. Moreover, the higher the level, the greater this gap would become. The super high base attributes, along with the super high divinity power, would eventually lead to Lin Moyu's attributes completely surpassing all class holders. It was even possible that he would surpass the world boss in the future. Meng Anwen and the others had estimated that this possibility was not out of the question. The serpent monsters finally retreated completely, leaving behind corpses everywhere. At least more than 100,000 serpent monsters had died here. Lin Moyu not only gained a lot of experience, but also harvested a massive amount of basic materials. Although these materials were not for legendary equipment, they could be used to forge platinum-grade equipment, or even quasi-legendary equipment. Even for Lin Moyu, these materials were a considerable fortune. It would cost a lot of money to buy high-level skill scrolls in the future. The skeleton berserkers, wielding axes, began to dismantle the corpse of the venomous flood dragon. This was the corpse of a world boss, its value would not be low. Like the earth dragon god, although it was full of poison, some parts were edible and had very special effects. The leg meat of the earth dragon god tasted delicious and could quickly restore mental strength. Lin Moyu felt that although the venomous flood dragon was more poisonous than the earth dragon god, Extreme's meat, and perhaps there would be some useful parts. Even if there weren't, its skin and bones might be good materials. After all, it was an level 85 world-class boss, there would always be some special features. Hundreds of skeleton berserkers acted simultaneously, dissecting the venomous flood dragon carefully and quickly. Most of the venomous flood dragon's scales had been scorched, and there were only a few intact ones left, not many. Lin Moyu didn't waste any of them, and took down these intact dragon scales. Most of the venomous flood dragon's flesh and blood were highly poisonous, and even after death, the poison would not dissipate. During the dissection, poisonous gas spread out like a thick fog. Lin Moyu was covered in white light, and the bone armor shone to resist the poisonous gas. Lin Moyu knew that he had a passive skill that granted status immunity, which would make him immune to all abnormal states. This included the poisoned state. Although the poisonous gas would cause damage to him, it would not poison him. The skeletons were different. After this great battle, most of the skeleton berserkers were poisoned. Some of the skeleton archmages and skeleton marksmen were also poisoned. These poisons could not be removed. The Lich General's dispel skill was ineffective against states above level 70. In other words, these poisoned skeletons needed to wait until the toxicity disappeared. As for how long it would take, Lin Moyu was not sure. At this time, under the effect of the talent of comprehensive connection, all the skeletons shared the damage together. The Lich General continued to heal, and was able to maintain it. The skeleton berserkers continued to dissect the venomous flood dragon, and the poisonous and useless flesh and blood were removed. After the surface flesh and blood were removed, a layer of pure white fascia appeared. The fascia ran through the entire body of the venomous flood dragon. It emitted a jade-like white light in the green poisonous fog. The fascia was thin, only 2 fingers thick, but it was not affected by the poisonous gas at all. Moreover, it was difficult for the skeleton berserker's axe to damage it. It was not only poison-resistant, but also tough enough. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that this layer of fascia was not ordinary. Soon, the complete fascia was removed. The 100-meter-long fascia was like a huge piece of jade, extremely beautiful. The detection spell landed on it. Venomous flood dragon's fascia. material for legendary equipment, has extremely strong poison resistance, can be used to create legendary inner armor. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up slightly. Sure enough, it had not dropped any legendary equipment itself, but the dissected fascia was a good legendary material. After the fascia was removed, the bones were revealed. Also a huge bone more than 100 meters long, the venomous flood dragon only had such a spine in its body. The bone was translucent, and there seemed to be spinal cord flowing inside. Lin Moyu continued to use the detection spell. As the most widely used skill by the human race, the detection spell would not disappoint most of the time. Venomous flood dragon's spine, material for making legendary jewelry, can also be used to upgrade quasi-legendary equipment. Lin Moyu's attention was attracted by the spinal cord in the spine at this time. He felt that the spinal cord might be more valuable than the bones. Break it open and take the spinal cord. Lin Moyu's heart moved and he issued an order. The skeleton berserker broke open one section of the bone, and a refreshing fragrance suddenly spread out. The fragrance was refreshing, and Lin Moyu felt refreshed just by smelling it. Wherever the fragrance passed, the poisonous smoke was quickly cleared, and even the poison on the skeletons was resolved at this moment. What a strong detoxification power! Lin Moyu couldn't help but exclaimed, these spinal cords actually had such a magical effect. Venomous flood dragon's spinal cord. Legendary antidote, can dissolve poison, each drop taken can increase the poison element immunity characteristic by 1%. Unfortunately, the amount of spinal cord was really a bit small, only 2 or 3 drops in each section. Lin Moyu didn't have a suitable container at the moment, so he simply let it stay in the bones for now, and talk about it later. So far, the venomous flood dragon had been completely dismembered, and there were no other valuable items. Lin Moyu turned around and came to the edge of the poison pool. Looking closely, through the green water surface, you could see many venom crystals. Although a lot had been sprayed out just now, there was still a lot left in the poison pool. With a sweep of his eyes, there were at least hundreds of pieces. Lin Moyu's gaze turned towards the center of the poison pool, perhaps he could get some good things from there. Chapter 452. Yes, confirmed, it's just a coffin. The venomous flood dragon was full of treasures. It should be said that the world boss was full of treasures. Lin Moyu was thinking, should he go and kill a few more world boss, maybe he could get more good things. Just thinking about it, the ground suddenly shook. Then Lin Moyu saw a scene that shocked him. The corpses that were piled up like mountains began to sink rapidly into the ground. A giant vortex seemed to appear on the ground, swallowing all the corpses. In the blink of an eye, the corpses on the ground had disappeared. Even the venomous flood dragon that had just been dissected by it had completely disappeared at this time. 44. The corpses all disappeared, and the earth returned to its original state, without leaving a single trace. Lin Moyu knew that both the elemental battlefield and the ancient battlefield possessed the ability to self-repair. This repairing ability was the ability to erase the mess above and restore the original state. It's just that in the upper space of the ancient battlefield, the Earth's repairing ability is relatively gentle, and it takes a little time to absorb the corpses. It could be as short as 3 to 5 days, or as long as 10 days or more. But in the lower space, the Earth's repairing speed is too fast. Only half an hour had passed, and the Earth began to repair itself. In just 2 minutes, the repair was declared complete. Yet, the Earth, with such a repairing ability, would leave behind such a poisonous pool. Because of this, Lin Moyu felt that this poisonous pool was even more unusual. He tried reaching his hand into the poisonous water, and the bone armor immediately shone, isolating the poisonous water. Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and he removed the bone armor. The poisonous water immediately touched his palm. Lin Moyu could feel the damage brought by the poisonous water, a slight stinging sensation, not strong. All the damage was transferred to the Undead Legion through the damage transfer skill. Moreover, relying on his status immunity, he did not enter a poisoned state. When he retracted his hand, shaking off the poisonous water, the damage would stop. After confirming that his skills were useful, Lin Moyu took out the extremely poisonous divine stone he had just obtained. Then, he activated it. The extremely poisonous divine stone exploded, scattering dark green light that enveloped Lin Moyu. Previously, he had used the extremely poisonous gem, obtaining the characteristic of 50% permanent immunity to poison elements, and also awakened the extremely poisonous star ring skill. Later, During his second job change, the extremely poisonous star ring merged with his curse skill, becoming the current extremely poisonous starburst. Now, using a higher level extremely poisonous divine stone, Lin Moyu didn't know the specific effect. With the knowledge he possessed, no matter the result, there would be no side effects. If there were any, the exploration skill would have informed him. A large amount of dark green light poured into his body, and Lin Moyu felt a magical power. This magical power was somewhat similar to the power in skill scrolls that could awaken skills. It seemed to involve some kind of fundamental power. Soon, the dark green light disappeared. Lin Moyu opened his eyes and exhaled. He didn't awaken a new skill, but the characteristic of poison element immunity increased to 80%. The extremely poisonous divine stone erased the effect of the extremely poisonous gem, replacing it instead of enhancing it on the basis of the gem. However, Lin Moyu thought this was normal. If it were enhanced on the basis of the gem, wouldn't his poison element immunity be at 130%, which would be complete immunity to poison elements? Lin Moyu wasn't disappointed, but felt that this was the norm. Such a good thing wouldn't happen even in a dream. Complete immunity to a certain element was unheard of for professionals. The characteristic of poison element immunity was even higher. At this time, under Lin Moyu's command, the undead legions had retreated outside the range of the poisonous smoke, waiting for the toxicity to dissipate. Lin Moyu waited for a while, until the strong soldier skill cooled down, and until the poison on the undead legion completely receded. Having made sufficient preparations, he slowly walked into the poisonous pool. The undead legions all remained above, not following him down. The damage he suffered would be continuously transmitted back, and the Lich General would heal the undead legion. In this way, the endurance of the undead legion would reach its maximum. As long as the undead legion was still there, he would not be in any danger. Lin Moyu would not take risks without a purpose, he calculated it very clearly. 80% poison element immunity, plus a 600% increase in elemental resistance. Assuming 10,000 damage, after layers of weakening, the final damage to Lin Moyu would only be 333, a full 33-fold reduction. Then this 333 damage would be shared by a full 27,000 skeletons, as well as the Lich General. As long as his passive skills didn't fail, Lin Moyu had nothing to fear. Lin Moyu slowly entered the poisonous water, and after taking 2 steps, he picked up a piece of extremely poisonous crystal. There were many extremely poisonous crystals at the bottom of the water, and Lin Moyu slowly moved towards the center of the poisonous pool, picking them up as he went. The poisonous pool sloped downwards, and the slope was very steep. In just a few meters, the poisonous liquid had already passed his chest. In the center of the poisonous pool, streams of thick, dark green poisonous liquid were constantly rising. There was a considerable hole here, and the poisonous liquid of the entire poisonous pool came from this. The previous divine blood of the god of poison was ejected from the hole. Lin Moyu tried touching the dark green poisonous liquid with his finger. A pain came from his finger. The toxicity of the poisonous liquid was stronger, more than 10 times that of other areas of the poisonous pool. At this moment, a piece of extremely poisonous crystal happened to rise from the hole along with the poisonous liquid, and Lin Moyu saw it. The extremely poisonous crystals in the poisonous pool also came from here. It seems that if I want to figure out what's going on, I still have to go inside and take a look. The hole wasn't big, with a diameter of less than 2 meters, just enough to accommodate Lin Moyu's entry. Lin Moyu carefully observed it, unable to see how deep the hole was, but he could see that the lower the poisonous liquid, the higher the concentration and the stronger the toxicity. After considering it in his mind, he finally decided to try it. The temptation of the divine blood was great, and Lin Moyu felt that there might be more than just divine blood below. Seeking fresh flowers. In the core area, the fire god's blood burned with raging flames year after year, burning for who knows how many years, even the blood had solidified. But here, the blood was still as usual, not solidified. So Lin Moyu judged that the source of the blood was still there. The result made Lin Moyu feel a chill of horror. With his guess, Lin Moyu resolutely drilled into the hole. Bearing the constant impact of the liquid, he slowly sank. The cave was very deep. Lin Moyu knew how much he had sunk, probably more than 100 meters. At this time, the poisonous liquid was as thick as a blob of ink, dark green and black, very terrifying. The toxicity was more than 100 times that of the poisonous water in the pool. Here, Every second, Lin Mo Yu would suffer massive damage. The undead legion silently endured the damage from Lin Mo Yu, and the Lich General kept healing them. Lin Mo Yu's vision was full of dark green, and he calculated the distance in his mind. Based on the previous feeling of the earth shock, it was about 100 to 200 meters deep. Now calculating, he should be almost there. Finally, he emerged from the other end of the cave. After leaving, he entered another space full of poisonous liquid. The dark green, extremely poisonous liquid churned endlessly here. Lin Mo Yu had held his breath from the moment he entered the pool. With his current strength, holding his breath was just the most basic ability, and even holding his breath for a long time was not a problem. The poisonous liquid caused damage to him from all directions. If it weren't for the 80% poison element immunity, plus the 600% increase in elemental resistance. Even with the Undead Legion as a source of damage absorption, Lin Mo Yu would not be able to enter here. This space was rectangular, not very large. Lin Mo Yu quickly found the edges and measured the specific size. 45. It was about 10 meters long and less than 3 meters wide, a rectangular space. Then, he saw a person lying in the center of the space. To be precise, it was a humanoid creature. It seemed to be dead, as Lin Mo Yu couldn't sense any signs of life. There was a fist-sized wound on its forehead, between its eyebrows. The venom was flowing from this wound. The moment Lin Mo Yu saw the corpse, he was shocked. His guess seemed to have come true. He flicked his finger to cast detection. But as soon as detection flew out, it was obliterated by the venom. Lin Mo Yu frowned, he cautiously approached the corpse, and gently touched it with his finger. Soft. The corpse was actually soft, which greatly surprised Lin Mo Yu. Detection was cast directly at the point of contact. This time there was a result. A god of Venoma. A state. Dormant. A. Lin Mo Yu quickly withdrew his finger, and trembled in shock, his guess had come true. Looking back at this space. This is a coffin, the coffin of the god of venom. Chapter 453, Fall of the God of Venom, a huge harvest. As far as he knew, gods would be in one of 3 states after being severely injured. The first is sleep. In this state, the god will slowly recover and eventually awaken after a long period of time. The second is dormancy. A god's dormancy indicates that it has truly suffered fatal damage. If it doesn't go dormant, it will surely die. It may even already be dead, only leaving a glimmer of hope. A god in this state has an extremely slim chance of revival. It could be thousands or tens of thousands of years. There were gods who fell into this state, and then other gods found them and killed them. Because as long as a god hasn't truly died, its position will continue to be occupied. The same type of god will not appear twice at the same time. Only by killing the previous god can a second god with the same position appear. The third is eternal sleep, which is death. A god in this state is truly dead. The past and future have nothing to do with it anymore. However, a god's entire body is a treasure, every piece of its flesh and blood has great uses. 283. Unfortunately, the human race has never obtained a god's corpse. Generally speaking, gods will self-destruct before they die, and will not leave their corpses to the enemy. The human race occasionally manages to obtain a severed limb, which is already the limit. Lin Mo Yu didn't expect that a real god would appear in front of him now. Although it is still in a dormant state, it is not truly dead. But Lin Mo Yu knew that it was no different from true death, and the hope of resurrection was extremely slim. Lin Mo Yu saw the wound on its forehead, which looked like it was caused by some kind of sharp weapon. This strike pierced its head, and it was this strike that turned it into this state. Lin Mo Yu couldn't guess or judge the past, and didn't know what happened specifically. He only knew that the corpse of the god of venom was in front of him, and he could dispose of it as he pleased. Just as Lin Mo Yu was thinking about how to deal with it, the corpse of the god of venom suddenly moved. Before Lin Mo Yu could react, the god of venom suddenly opened its eyes. Lin Mo Yu saw killing intent in its eyes. A vast amount of killing intent rushed out of the god of venom, enveloping Lin Mo Yu. Lin Mo Yu felt a chill all over his body. The god of venom was clearly dormant, why did it awaken? But in the next second, Lin Mo Yu came to his senses, the god of venom did not awaken. This was its last obsession, it regarded itself as the enemy who killed it. This will also be the last counterattack of the god of venom. Terrifying energy was already surging within the god of venom, permeating the entire cave. All the venom was boiling. This situation is the same as an out-of-control itch of wildfire. The god of venom wants to self-destruct. Lin Moyu was terrified. He knew that gods generally choose to self-destruct before they die. Even if they can't die with the enemy, they won't leave their corpses to the enemy. The god of venom didn't self-destruct for some reason back then, and went into dormancy here. But now, because his entry stimulated its last thought, it actually wanted to choose to self-destruct, burning and exploding all the divine power in an instant. How strong is the divine power of a god? Even gods don't dare to resist in the state of self-destruction. Lin Moyu knew he would die. He instinctively took out the Abyss teleportation stone to leave here. But at this time, he realized that the power of the gods had sealed off this space. The Abyss teleportation stone had lost its effect. It couldn't teleport, and couldn't escape. Lin Moyu's face was pale. An occasional adventure was really going to kill him. The power of intent. Lin Moyu suddenly startled in his heart, thinking of something. A flash of inspiration flashed in his mind. Perhaps this is the last hope. Soulfire flickered in his hand. A spark directly appeared between the eyebrows of the god of venom. The wound between the eyebrows was the fatal wound of the god of venom, piercing through the body, and also scattering the soul. At this time, it was attacked again. The corpse of the god of venom trembled violently. Lin Moyu clearly captured that its divine power was chaotic, and seemed to be loosening. Effective. His eyes lit up. Lin Moyu continued to use Soulfire. Using both hands, 5 times a second. He felt that the god of venom was not dead, probably because it still retained a trace of remnant soul. Whether it is a human or a god, they cannot survive without a soul. The soul is the foundation. Zhang Yi retained his soul, leaving the possibility of resurrection. Unless it is those corpses in the corpse realm, they are walking corpses, they have no life, and no soul. As long as the god of venom still wants to resurrect, it will inevitably retain a trace of remnant soul. In that case, Lin Moyu will completely obliterate its soul. Seeing that Soulfire was effective, the A Strong Soldiera skill on the back of his hand was activated again. 46. In an instant, attributes were greatly improved, and the mental strength attribute reached 600,000. Skill damage was greatly improved, and an additional 500% damage was dealt. The damage of Soul Flame was more than 10 times higher than usual. As the soul flame burned again, more than a dozen flames continued to fall. It completely interrupted the god of poison's just condensed divine power, interrupting its self-destruction. Lin Mo then breathed a sigh of relief and continued to use the soul flame. The remnant soul of the god of poison had no power to resist, and with unwillingness, it let out a scream that only the soul could hear, and completely collapsed. The god of poison trembled violently and completely lost its movement. The soul flame also lost its target in an instant. The god of poison has fallen. At the same time, Lin Mo also received shocking information. Killed the god of poison, level +1. Killed the god of poison, star general +1. Killed the god of poison, increased the upper limit of poison element immunity. Killed the god of poison, obtained a medium godhead. Killed the god of poison, obtained the position of god of poison. Increased the upper limit of poison element immunity. The upper limit of poison element immunity increased from 80% to 100%. Medium Godhead. Absorb the Godhead to become a god, or comprehend the power in the Godhead to become a god-level powerhouse. God of Poison position. Merge with the god position to become the new god of poison. Lin Mo was stunned. What the hell is this? White light flashed on his body, and his level rose from level 51 to level 52. The sergeant's badge shone brightly, and a virtual star appeared. This star is a bit hazy, and the middle is hollow. It can only be called a half-star. He needs to kill another god-level being of an enemy race to become a 3-star god general. Now he is still a 2-star god general and cannot be called a 3-star god general. The upper limit of poison element immunity has been increased from 80% to 100%. Lin Mo then realized that the element immunity had an upper limit. No wonder I have never heard of a human race professional who is completely immune to a certain element. Normally, the immunity upper limit of a single element is 85%. It is not impossible to break, but it is difficult. Even if the upper limit is broken, it is about 90%. It is unique to reach 100% like Lin Mo. Lin Mo thought of the spinal cord of the poisonous flood dragon. Perhaps he could increase his immunity to poison elements by taking it, and finally achieve 100% poison element immunity. Then there were 2 gains that Lin Mo couldn't imagine, the Godhead and the God position. He then realized that the god of poison was actually a middle-level god. Its godhead is a medium godhead. As long as he absorbs it now, there is a high probability that he will become a medium god, equivalent to the human race's level 93 to 95 god-level powerhouse. This is an opportunity to reach the sky in one step. But similarly, he will also be restricted by this. From then on, he will stop here, unless he can absorb a more powerful godhead, otherwise he will always be a middle-level god. As for the super god, it is even more impossible for him. At most, he will cooperate with the god of poison's position and become the new god of poison 2.0. But so what? Lin Mo is confident in himself, he will not do such a short-sighted thing. His goal is to become a super god, not a god, nor any god position. The godhead and the god position appeared in the spiritual world at the same time. The godhead is a 12-sided polygonal green crystal, slowly rotating in the spiritual world, which is quite beautiful. The god position is like a throne, staying next to the godhead, motionless. What made Lin Mo strange was that these two things stayed far away from the domain god stone, not knowing why. It seems that the domain god stone is of a higher level than them. Lin Mo felt the almost endless poison element in the godhead, and he had a bold idea. If I use it to summon an elemental lich. As soon as this idea appeared, it took root and sprouted, growing stronger. However, it is not something to do now, but to wait until he is sure before doing it. It is estimated that he will have to wait until he steps into the god level before he can try. There is only one godhead, and there is only one chance, so it cannot be wasted. If it succeeds, he may have a god-level lich. Just thinking about it makes him a little excited. Chapter 454. What did this kid do? This time was a great gain for Lin Mo. When the god of poison fell, Lin Mo was completely unaware that the outside world had completely changed. In the deep space of the ancient battlefield, a surge of majestic power rushed out. Angry roars, one after another. The space was shattered by the roars. The sound spread far, far away, continuously. The situation in the ancient battlefield was changing, with lightning and thunder for a while, and storms for a while. This abnormal situation has never happened in the ancient battlefield for countless years. Not only the ancient battlefield, but also incredible things are happening in the human race's world. A worldwide rain fell inexplicably, and lightning continued to strike. The meta battlefield was the same. At this time, all god-level powerhouses felt a sad aura. In the White God courtyard, all the rain was isolated. Meng Anwen sighed softly, a god has fallen, and it is still a medium god. The last recorded rain of divine fall seems to have been more than 500 years ago. At that time, a lower god died, and the reign of divine fall lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. This time, it is estimated that it will last for 6 days and 6 nights. Bai Yiyuan was not in the White God courtyard. At this time, he was sitting in the Hall of Heroes of the No. One fortress of the meta battlefield. His tiger eyes were fixed on Lin Mo's soul imprint. As long as the soul imprint is intact, he can rest assured. An hour ago, he personally witnessed Lin Mo's soul imprint strengthen a bit. He knew that Lin Mo had leveled up, reaching level 51. 28. Just less than 2 hours apart, Lin Mo leveled up again. Bai Yiyuan was really shocked. What did this kid do? Generally, after level 50, people only level up every few months. Some people even level up every 6 months or a year. Bai Yiyuan had never heard of Lin Mo's continuous leveling up. Leveling up every 2 hours, how many monsters would he have to kill in a row? He couldn't imagine that there was a dying god of poison who happened to be killed by Lin Mo. 47. He gained immense benefits, directly leveling up. Bai Yiyuan really couldn't understand it, but adhering to the principle of thinking if he couldn't understand, Bai Yiyuan quickly put the matter aside. As long as Lin Mo is fine, that's the best thing. The core area of the ancient battlefield was the last to reign, and the power from the deep space was also the last to be transmitted here. The roar echoed continuously in the core area. The light bands in the air were shattered by the roar. Countless monsters and bosses trembled in the angry, earth-shattering roar. Antares, who was having a sweet dream, was awakened. It also let out an angry roar, "Shut up, it's too noisy." Even more astonishing power surged from it, directly breaking through space and descending into the deep space. The angry voice in the deep space came to an abrupt halt. The ancient battlefield suddenly returned to calm, and even the godfall rain stopped at this moment. In an instant, the entire ancient battlefield returned to its normal appearance. Antares murmured, "How could there be a godfall? Which god has fallen?" Even it didn't know that Linmo had killed a middle-level god on the wild continent. On the wild continent, Linmo had already emerged from the poisonous pool. The corpse of the god of poison was taken away by him. Zhang Yi once regarded a severed finger of a god as a treasure. Linmo now possesses an entire corpse of a god. If others were to know, they would surely go crazy. Having lost its source, the poisonous pool seemed to have become clearer, and the toxicity was no longer so strong. Linmo took away all the poisonous crystals in the poisonous pool, and there were also a large number of poisonous crystals in the coffin of the god of poison. At this time, the number of poisonous crystals in Linmo's hand had exceeded 200. This alone is an astonishing wealth. Linmo had once thought about where to get a poisonous crystal to fuse it into the elemental divine stone. As a result, he obtained so many all at once. He fused one of the poisonous crystals into the elemental divine stone. At this time, the 2 elemental stones in his hand had become a fusion of 7 elements. Elemental divine stone: fire, poison, earth, light, water, wind, lightning. Use a third job change to increase the chance of job sublimation by 35%. Both elemental divine stones have a 35% chance of job sublimation. In addition to the divine level potion refined from the beast god's essence blood, and the life divine power in the ancestral land of the Creation Academy, Linmo felt that Ning Yi's chance of sublimation during the third job change would be quite high. It's just a pity that the beast god's essence blood potion is only effective for physical type professions, and it's useless to him. Linmo felt that even if he found an item that could increase the chance of sublimation for magic type professions, it might not be effective for him. After all, his profession, although magic type, was too special. In addition to the poisonous crystals, Linmo also obtained an additional 9 drops of the god of poison's essence blood from the coffin where the god of poison slept. But now that the corpse is in hand, all the essence blood of the god of poison belongs to him, and there's no telling how many drops there are. The extra essence blood doesn't seem so precious anymore. The spirits of gods are different. If properly preserved, they can last for many years. Unlike the divine-level powerhouses of the human race, or the abyss demon kings, the vitality in their blood disappears not long after death. From this point of view, gods are far superior to other races. He stayed by the poisonous pool for a while longer. Linmo filled up the newly added summoning legions at level 52, and also waited for that strong soldier skill to finish cooling down. Upon reaching level 52, the summoning space reached 960. There were 32 Lich Generals, totaling 32 undead legions, with a total of 30,720 skeletons, officially breaking the 30,000 mark. All other skills were improved, and the combat power was once again enhanced. Although it wasn't a leap like every 10 levels, each level up steadily increased his strength. The increase was much greater than that of other professions. Linmo spent half an hour to fully replenish the undead legions. Now the poisonous smoke near the poisonous pool is getting weaker and is rapidly dissipating. The earth once again showed its extremely strong restorative power. Originally, because of the existence of the god of poison, it was unable to repair this area. The entire poisonous pool was like a poisonous tumor embedded in the earth. The earth shook and erupted time and time again, but it could not expel it. This time, the god of poison was completely killed by Lin, and even the corpse and coffin were taken away in one go. The poisonous pool had completely lost its source and could no longer resist the restorative power in the earth. The poisonous pool was shrinking at a speed visible to the naked eye. An hour later, it completely disappeared from sight. This rocky wasteland belonging to snake-like monsters finally became complete. Linmo looked into the distance and muttered to himself, "That's how it should be." It was really too abrupt for a poisonous pool to suddenly appear on the earth. Linmo knew that in the near future, many snake monsters would be born on the earth again. Then, a king would reappear among them. Perhaps many years later, another world-class boss would be born here. It may no longer be the poisonous flood dragon because without the existence of the poisonous pool, it has lost its source of poison. Linmo suddenly felt a terrifying aura spreading over. It's the giant leaf mother tree. Linmo's heart stirred, he recognized this aura. The giant leaf mother tree is here. Without even thinking, he directly summoned the lightning undead wings and shot away towards the distance. He didn't want to face the giant leaf mother tree again. The giant leaf mother tree is as high as level 86, one level higher than the poisonous flood dragon. At this level, every level difference means a big difference in attributes. The total attributes of the giant leaf mother tree are 300,000 higher than those of the poisonous flood dragon. Moreover, because of its special nature as a plant-type boss, coupled with various characteristics, its combat power far exceeds that of the poisonous flood dragon. Especially its vitality and recovery power, which the poisonous flood dragon cannot match. Previously, Lin Mo caught it off guard and severely injured it. But Lin Mo also knew clearly in his heart that if he continued to fight, he would surely die. What's more, now that it has returned again, it must have come prepared to seek revenge. For some reason, Lin Mo could feel that the giant leaf mother tree already had a certain amount of wisdom, and its wisdom exceeded that of the poisonous flood dragon. So Lin Mo didn't want to face it again, at least not for now. Not long after Lin Mo left, the huge giant leaf mother tree descended from the sky and landed with a bang in the place where the poisonous pool used to be. Its leaves kept shaking, as if it was looking for something. But at this time, Lin Mo had long since moved away and his whereabouts were unknown. It made a hoarse, low voice, expressing its anger. Countless tree vines lashed and twitched around like whips, the earth cracked, and solid stones were shattered. These stones, which Lin Mo could hardly shake at all with all his strength, were no better than tofu in front of it. In the end, it returned in anger, back to its territory. Chapter 455, The Weird Green Prairie. Lin Mo flew hundreds of kilometers in one breath, passing countless giant stones and rubble. He only stopped when the earth changed. He knew that he had entered another boss's territory. 48. On this land, the regions were distinctly demarcated. For example, there was a very clear boundary between the territories of the giant leaf mother tree and the venomous dragon. Lin Mo did not know how these boss usually interacted, or if there were any conflicts. That was irrelevant to him. As soon as he noticed a change in terrain, he immediately descended. He was too conspicuous in the air, and if he encountered another boss that could fly, he was likely to be targeted. The ground where he landed was somewhat soft. It was covered with half-foot-high green grass, forming a grassland. The grassland stretched as far as the eye could see. Lin Mo had not seen its end while in the air. Compared to the desolate serpent monster land, this place seemed full of life. A gentle breeze blew, slightly bending the grass and creating a soft rustling sound. The grassland was not a plain but undulated continuously. Often, a small grassy slope connected to another, higher grassy slope, like undulating waves of ice. Walking on the grassland, Lin Mo always felt a strangeness. The ground was soft, and the temperature was pleasant, but he could constantly feel an icy chill coming from beneath his feet. Driven by curiosity, Lin Mo summoned a skeleton berserker, preparing to dig into the grass to see what was underneath. What exactly was beneath the grass, and why did it make him feel cold? The grass was unexpectedly tough, and the skeleton berserker could not move it at all. This made it even stranger. How could ordinary grass be so tough? Lin Mo felt that this grassland was a single entity. The grass did not grow in the soil but on some kind of solid object. Under Lin Mo's command, the skeleton berserker swung its axe and smashed down with all its might. A muffled sound rang out. Lin Mo could feel the ground tremble slightly. The skeleton berserker's strength was absorbed and neutralized, causing no damage at all. So tough. Through this strike, Lin Mo confirmed that the grassland was incredibly tough, not much different from the previous serpent monster land. Another gust of wind blew, and the grass bent slightly. Lin Mo felt that something was wrong. This time, all the bent blades of grass were pointed at the skeleton berserker. Looking at the tips of the grass, they seemed to shimmer with a sharp luster. Whoosh! The crisp sound of air being torn apart suddenly rang out. Lin Mo instinctively took several steps back. Countless blades of grass shot out like sharp swords, striking the skeleton berserker, creating a crisp, metallic sound. The skeleton berserker immediately suffered significant damage. Lin Mo was shocked. If it weren't for the full connection, this skeleton berserker would have been dead. In that instant, at least 100 blades of grass had shot out simultaneously. After a round of attacks, the grass returned to the ground, returning to its soft state. The scene just now seemed like it had never happened, extremely dreamlike. Lin Mo was somewhat surprised. He thought that the skeleton berserker's strike had triggered the grass's counterattack. The reason why there was only one wave of counterattacks was also because the skeleton berserker had only struck once. If he were to strike a few more times. Lin Moi once again commanded the skeleton berserker to smash the ground with its axe, using a little less force than before. Lin Moi then took several steps back again, watching from a distance. Sure enough, another batch of grass flew out, striking the skeleton berserker like sharp swords. However, this time, the number of grass blades was much smaller than before. After a round of attacks, the grass returned to its original position, back to the ground. Try again. Lin Moi's heart stirred, and the skeleton berserker smashed down again. This time, the skeleton berserker's axe flashed with red light, activating a skill, its power several times greater than before. With a loud bang, the ground trembled again, spreading into the distance. The next second, something that shocked Lin Moi happened. Within a radius of several hundred meters, all the grass simultaneously pointed at the skeleton berserker. In an instant, countless blades of grass flew. They crackled and struck the skeleton berserker. The originally green grassland instantly became bald. Without thinking, Lin Moi quickly released the undead legion, instructing the Lich General to heal. On the ground within a radius of several hundred meters, the number of grass blades was more than 10,000. Striking the skeleton berserker simultaneously instantly caused a large amount of damage. This damage was shared among all members of the undead legion. All the skeletons were injured at the same time. Fortunately, this type of attack only lasted for one wave. After one wave, it returned to normal. One strike, then another. The stronger the attack, the stronger the counterattack. This grassland seems to possess damage reflection attributes. He thought of a skill from the Knight class, damage reflection. The Knight's damage reflection skill could reflect the enemy's attack back intact. This grassland seemed to be the same. The stronger the skeleton berserker's attack, the greater the reflected damage. But when he stepped on the grass, clearly bending and flattening it, he didn't seem to suffer any counterattack. This indicated that it also had a certain threshold. Exceeding this threshold would activate the damage reflection mechanism. Lin Moi tried lifting his foot and stepping down with a little force. His current strength was not weak. This step, Lin Moi estimated, used almost 50,000 points of strength. Sure enough, the next second, Lin Moi saw hundreds of blades of grass simultaneously pointing at him. He was locked on. It was the kind of lock-on that came from the soul, unavoidable. The grass flew out and struck him, but it was all blocked by the bone armor. After several experiments, Lin Moi confirmed his guess. This land, in addition to being incredibly tough, also possessed the characteristic of damage reflection. Ordinary walking was fine, but if one used a little force, they would suffer a counterattack. For example, the skeleton berserker walking on it was fine. Once it exerted force to run, using too much force, it would also suffer reflection. During the experiment, the skeleton berserker ran wildly ahead, and blades of grass constantly left the ground behind it, attacking the skeleton berserker. That scene was quite beautiful. Having clearly understood this point, Lin Moi decisively used the lightning undead wings, no longer stepping on the grass. He always maintained a height of about half a meter from the grass, advancing quickly. Walking step by step was too slow. Walking too fast would attract attacks. It was better to fly at low altitude. The grassland was very quiet. Lin Moi had traveled for several kilometers and still hadn't encountered any monsters. This almost made him think that there were no monsters on this land. Until he saw a lake. 49. It's normal for lakes to appear on the grassland, so Lin Moi didn't feel any surprise. Lin Moi even wondered if the monster was in the lake. But what happened next completely subverted his imagination. A vortex began to appear in the center of the lake, and the water inside disappeared rapidly, vanishing without a trace in the blink of an eye. This lake was not large, only about 30 meters in radius, and it would not be an exaggeration to call it a pond. After the water dried up, a huge monster crawled up. The monster looked like an octopus from the sea, with a cyan body and 8 huge tentacles. Each tentacle was more than 20 meters long. This octopus monster quickly crawled on the grassland, and the color of its body also changed at the same time, merging with the cyan grassland, and finally disappearing completely. This disappearance was not invisibility, but it changed its color and merged with the grassland. Not only was it difficult to distinguish with the naked eye, but even Lin Moi's mental power could hardly separate it from the grassland. Not only did its color merge with the grassland, but its aura was also the same. Lin Moi suddenly felt a chill down his spine. Lin Moi wondered if he had already encountered a monster on the way, but he didn't know it. Without disturbing it, Lin Moyu came to the place where the lake was before. A deep pit appeared here, 30 meters in diameter and 5 meters deep. The grass on the surface had disappeared, revealing the scene under the grassland. Lin Moyu then realized that about 1 meter under the grass, there was a thick layer of ice. The ice layer was very thick, and the bottom could not be seen. A diaresis it is drinking water. Lin Moyu realized that the monster had melted the ice layer and then drank the melted ice water. After drinking the water, it left, and the whole process was silent. The wind blew, and Lin Moyu felt strange. The vibrant grassland, the grassland that would reflect damage, and the extremely tough grassland. Under it, there was a thick layer of ice. Could it be that this was once an ocean? It's just frozen into ice now, and then grass grew on it. Lin Moyu felt that this was the only way to explain the scene he saw, otherwise how could a water monster like an octopus, which lives in the ocean, appear here? It's too illogical. Just as he was thinking, there was a sudden explosion in the distance. The explosion was accompanied by a huge impact, sweeping in all directions. Large areas of grassland were shaken, and countless grasses within 1,000 meters were uprooted and shot towards the direction of the explosion. Lin Moyu saw an amazing scene again. Chapter 456. What a pity, you are one step late. The land that had lost its grass became bare, revealing the slightly black and gray soil. Just as the grass left the ground, Lin Moyu saw dense monsters on the ground. There were octopuses he had seen before, crabs, and some strange fish with limbs. These monsters quickly changed their body colors in front of Lin Moyu and merged with the earth again. The whole process took no more than 2 seconds. Lin Moyu's eyes stayed less than 5 meters in front of him. There was a crab-like monster here. With a body shape of more than 10 meters and huge pincers, it was obvious that it was very powerful. At the moment of discoloration just now, they had a trace of aura revealed. Lin Moyu felt that these monsters were almost the type of ordinary boss, or even stronger. Needless to say, the level is at least level 70 or even level 80. These monsters don't actively attack. If it were in another place, the monster would have attacked itself at such a close distance. But now that I think about it, the giant leaf dwarf tree didn't seem to attack itself actively either. Until Mu Shenxian stepped on the vines. What a peculiar monster. Lin Moyu raised himself a little bit higher and flew towards the direction. The grass that had flown away had returned. The earth returned to its original state. Usually they are soft grass, but once they leave the ground, they are sharp swords. Flying forward for a distance, Lin Moyu saw the fighting parties. Human race professionals players. Lin Moyu saw the fighting parties. A team of 6 human race professionals players. They were besieging a monster, and the monster looked exactly like the octopus monster they had seen before. Lin Moyu landed earlier and stopped behind a slope, watching the battle like an observer. The octopus monster's 8 tentacles were dancing wildly in the air, but they were all blocked by the human race professionals players. A knight, a healer, an auxiliary crowd controller, 2 mages, and an archer. Each one is a top professionals players above level 70. But none of them exceeded level 80. After exceeding level 80, the aura on their bodies would change. Lin Moyu might not have understood before, but now he is very clear. For knight healers and other classes, level 73 job change promotion brings them stronger class skills. Only support will undergo major changes after level 70. Most support will awaken many control-type skills after level 70, giving them powerful battlefield control. Before level 70, support basically had nothing to do after adding buffs, and spent most of their time staring blankly at the show. But after level 70, because of the emergence of a large number of crowd control skills, support also became a control-type class. When there are many monsters, they are responsible for large-scale crowd control. When fighting boss, they are responsible for interrupting the boss's skills. Similarly, in teams above level 70, support has also become an indispensable class. Lin Moyu personally saw the support in the team in front of him, with a ball of light emitting from the staff in his hand quickly falling on the octopus monster. The octopus monster appeared stagnant for a moment. The skill that was being prepared was also interrupted. Although the entire stagnant process was only less than 2 seconds, the effect was very obvious. He bought the knight time to breathe, and also allowed the healer to perform 2 more treatments. After all, after exceeding level 70, the intensity of the battle is far from what it used to be. 2 seconds is enough to do a lot of things. Lin Moyu did not go over directly. This team was not from the Divine Summer Empire. From the costumes on their bodies, Lin Moyu judged that the other party was from the Eagle Country, and was a professionals players from the Eagle Country. Although there is no direct conflict between the Eagle Country and the Divine Summer Empire, it has always been not very good these years. When both sides' professionals players meet in the wild, they rarely say hello, and there are quite a few records of fighting. There have even been several casualties. It is precisely because of this that Lin Moyu did not go forward to say hello. He just watched silently. 50. The octopus monster was about as strong as he expected, probably just a normal boss below level 80. The 6-person team from Eagle Country cooperated perfectly, especially their support, who was outstanding. He accurately interrupted the octopus boss's skills again and again, greatly reducing the knight's pressure. This also allowed the mages and archers in the rear to output damage freely, making the entire team's fight extremely easy. However, Lin Moyu noticed that the mages were somewhat hesitant in their damage output. They seemed afraid to use large-scale skills. Lin Moyu understood that this was because of the damage reflection mechanism on the grassland. If the mages used large area skills, a large amount of their attacks would inevitably land on the grassland. He guessed that the thousands of flying green grasses earlier were caused by a mage using a large area skill. Mages were the strongest damage dealers, and if they couldn't fight with all their might, it would inevitably lead to a decrease in efficiency. After fighting for a full 30 minutes, they finally killed the octopus boss. The knight used his sword to dissect the octopus, taking out a water ball from its body that was much larger than a human head. Then, he took out several bottles and transferred the water from the water ball into the bottles. Lin Moyu didn't understand why they were collecting this water. At that moment, a whistling sound rang out in the air, CIFJ. A large number of black dots appeared in the sky, and a large force arrived, numbering over 100 people. They were all Eagle Country professionals, wearing the same attire, and likely came from a guild in Eagle Country. The leading knight had an extremely heavy aura. Judging from his aura, Lin Moyu estimated that this person was above level 85, a top-tier professional. He was the highest level person present. He wore gorgeous equipment, and his gaze swept over the dead octopus, as the purified water collected. Several knights responded, "It's all collected." They took out the collected water bottles one after another. Only then did Lin Moyu realize that the water obtained from the octopus boss was called purified water. Moreover, this team of 100 people had not only killed one octopus monster, but had split up and killed many octopus bosses. Each octopus boss could only provide a limited amount of purified water, only 5 or 6 bottles each. Right now, they had at least 100 bottles in their hands. There was enough to spare even after distributing one bottle to each person. The leading knight nodded. "Good, distribute one bottle to each person. With it, we can greatly reduce the threat of the poisonous flood dragon. This time, our Eagle Guild will definitely kill the poisonous flood dragon and avenge our previous defeat." Lin Moyu was slightly stunned. These guys were actually going to kill the poisonous flood dragon. It seemed that the purified water in their hands should have a detoxifying effect. If they find out that the poisonous flood dragon has already been killed, I wonder what they'll think. Too bad, you guys are a step late. Lin Moyu found it amusing. These people were so well prepared, but they were probably going to be disappointed. The leading knight said a few more encouraging words and waved his hand, "Let's go," to the Serpent Land. The group sped off towards the Serpent Land. Lin Moyu stood behind the small slope, watching them disappear into the distance. He knew that the other party should have already noticed him. He hadn't deliberately concealed his aura, so it shouldn't have escaped the attention of the leading knight. However, the other party obviously didn't care about him and simply ignored him. Lin Moyu didn't care either. He looked in the direction from which these Eagle Country people had come. That should be the direction to leave. The terrain here is completely different from the Burial Thunder Canyon. Once I leave this area, I'll ask someone for directions. Having made up his mind, he quickly flew forward. The green grassland was much safer than the Serpent Land. The monsters here didn't actively attack, and he hadn't discovered any world-class bosses. As long as one didn't deliberately court death and provoke the grassland, there shouldn't be any danger. However, Lin Moyu was still curious about the green grassland. Why was there bottomless ice beneath the grassland? How was the ice formed? Having experienced many things, Lin Moyu had also developed his own views on various things and had various speculations. He even suspected that the sleeping place of the water god might be beneath the ice. It was just that he didn't have the ability to break through the ice now, but he would definitely go down and take a look when he had the chance in the future. An hour later, Lin Moyu had already flown over 1,000 kilometers. He encountered another team of professionals. Shengxia people. The other party took the initiative to fly over and greet Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu nodded. Yes, are you from the Jialan Guild? Lin Moyu recognized the mark on their clothing. Mu Qianqin had the mark of the Jialan Guild on her, and Lin Moyu was very familiar with it. The other party was tall and burly, over 2 meters tall, and had a strong build. His speech was similar to his appearance, very forthright. That's right, Jialan Liang, level 82 Holy Word Knight. Jialan Liang. It seemed that he was not only from the Jialan Guild, but also related to Jialan Yeyu. Suddenly, Jialan Liang showed a surprised expression. Little brother, why are you only level 52? Chapter 457. The layout of the lower space. Before, Jialan Liang hadn't paid much attention to Lin Moyu because he was young. Suddenly discovering Lin Moyu's level was like discovering a new continent. It was unheard of for a level 52 person to come to the lower space of the primordial battlefield. In the past, only people above level 70 would go to the upper space, and no one below level 70 could ever come over. Lin Moyu unknowingly created another piece of history. Jialan Liang's words also attracted the attention of the others, and they all looked at Lin Moyu with incredible surprise. Jialan Liang asked, Little brother, what's your name? How did you get here? Lin Moyu didn't hide anything. Lin Moyu, I got here because of some accident. Hearing Lin Moyu's name, everyone was surprised. Lin Moyu knew that these people probably hadn't left the primordial battlefield for a long time. Indeed, some people would cultivate in the primordial battlefield, staying for several years. During these years, news would be relatively closed off, and they might even lose contact with the outside world. It was normal for them not to know him. Lin Moyu didn't hang his sergeant badge on his shoulder, so others didn't know his identity as a 2-star god general. It would be easier to communicate this way. Jialan Liang said, Fortunately, little brother, you came to this green sea grassland. It would be dangerous if you were anywhere else. He felt that Lin Moyu was only level 52. Apart from here, in any other place, any monster he encountered could kill him without leaving any trace. Jialan Liang said, How about this, little brother, you follow us first, and when we finish our business here and go back, we'll send you back. Our Jialan Guild has a base here, with a teleportation array for leaving. Jialan Liang was very forthright and immediately invited Lin Moyu to join their team. Lin Moyu didn't refuse. It was just right that he also wanted to inquire about the situation in the deeper space. He really didn't know anything about the deeper space, not even the direction. Even if he wanted to go to the Burial Thunder Canyon, he was completely in the dark. However, Jialan Liang's forthrightness also made him feel kindness. He felt that Jialan Liang seemed somewhat similar to Shi Xing'an. 51. It was much stronger than the Imperial Dynasty Guild he had dealt with before. After adding Lin Mo to the group, everyone set off again. The group flew in the air. The Qinghai grassland was not dangerous, so they could fly freely. On the contrary, walking on the grassland might lead to some dangers. Lin Mo used his flying skills to follow beside Jialan Liang. Jialan Liang only casually praised Lin Mo for having flying skills and was not too surprised. What surprise could compare to Lin Mo being able to come here? Lin Mo asked, Senior Liang, what is the situation in the lower space? Jialan Liang laughed loudly, Don't call me senior, it sounds awkward. Just call me brother, we are all brothers, I just lived a few years longer than you. Lin Mo was not polite. Brother Liang, can you tell me about the situation in the lower space? Jialan Liang was very happy. Of course, no problem, you can tell me anything you want to know. Lin Mo said, everything about the lower space. Jialan Liang thought for a while, okay, let's start with the area we are in. This area is the Qinghai grassland. It is said that countless years ago, this used to be an ocean. You should have seen the monsters here. Lin Mo nodded. Just now, a Flying Eagle Guild killed some octopus monsters and took the water of purification, and now they have gone to the poisonous snake land. Jialan Liang laughed loudly, these guys are going to find abuse again. They just went there not long ago, but they were beaten back and people died. The poisonous flood dragon is an level 85 world-class boss, it is not so easy to deal with. But this is someone else's business, we can't control it. Okay, never mind them, I'll continue to talk to you. Plus, we call this place the Qinghai Grassland. If you go west, you will reach the poisonous snake land. If you pass through the poisonous snake land, you will reach the giant leaf forest. Each area has a world-class boss, that is their territory. And the continent we are on is called the Wild Continent. Jia Lan Liang was forthright and very patient when he spoke. Under his narration, Lin Mo began to gradually understand some information about the lower space. The lower space is indeed very different from the upper space. The upper space is a whole continent, but it is divided into 3 areas, the outer, central, and core areas. But in the lower space, it can be divided into 4 continents. It is said that these 4 continents were once a whole long ago. Later, because of a great war, super strong men shattered the entire lower layer into 4 continents. Each continent faces each other across the sea, and in the center of the 4 continents is the former battlefield, now the devouring void. It is not easy to get from one continent to another. The continent they are currently on is the Wild Continent located in the southern part of the lower space. The Jia Lan Guild is the #1 guild of the human race and is powerful. They have bases in both the southern Wild Continent and the eastern Divine Dragon Continent. And they also set up teleportation arrays that can travel back and forth. Lin Mo also inquired about information about the Burial Thunder Canyon. Burial Thunder Canyon is in the center of the northern Wind and Thunder Continent. There are 2 ways to get there. One is to pass through the eastern Divine Dragon Continent, and then cross the Wind and Thunder Sea to enter the Wind and Thunder Continent. The second is from the back of the Western Meteorite Continent, and you can also enter the Wind and Thunder Continent. But to go to the Meteorite Continent, you must first cross the entire Wild Continent, which is not easy. Lin Mo already understood that in the Wild Continent, the Qinghai Grassland is the southernmost part and the closest to the Divine Dragon Continent. Seeking flowers. To cross the entire Wild Continent, you must not only cross the territory of the poisonous flood dragon, but also the territory of the giant leaf mother tree, and then there are several more dangerous areas. Lin Mo directly announced his abandonment. It seems that it is better to return to the Divine Dragon Continent first, and then go to the Northern Wind and Thunder Continent from the Divine Dragon Continent. But to go to the Divine Dragon Continent, you either have to cross the ocean between the 2 continents yourself, or use the corresponding teleportation array. There are not only many powerful sea monsters in the ocean, but also a large number of flying monsters, so it is not easy to pass. Lin Mo decided to save some effort and shamelessly borrow the Jia Lan Guild's teleportation array. Anyway, he had saved Jia Lan Yayu, so it didn't seem like anything to borrow their teleportation array. Brother Liang, are you and Jia Lan Yayu of the same race? Lin Mo asked. Jia Lan Liang was slightly surprised. Brother Lin knows Yayu. Lin Mo said, I met her in the upper space, we had a brief encounter. Jia Lan Liang laughed loudly, so that's how it is, it seems we are really destined. Jia Lan Yayu is my little sister, is this girl doing well now? Lin Mo thought for a while, the last time I saw her was more than half a month ago, she is in the core area. Jia Lan Liang shook his head and said, this girl is just running around with some night order. But fortunately, her strength is still okay, so there should be no danger. This big brother is not only forthright, but also has a big heart. It's more than just danger, she almost died, and more than once. Jia Lan Liang sighed, counting it, I haven't seen this girl for more than 2 years. After I go back this time, I will also go back to rest for a while. Or if I can find a space-time channel, I can also go back to the upper space and see the crazy girl. Lin Mo smiled slightly. In his opinion, the personalities of these 2 siblings are somewhat similar, both are rash. Jia Lan Liang suddenly asked, Brother Lin, why are you asking about Burial Thunder Canyon? Lin Mo told the truth, I want to go there. Jia Lan Liang said in surprise, that's not easy to go to. There is no teleportation array between the Divine Dragon Continent and the Wind and Thunder Continent. Even I don't have full confidence to send you across the Wind and Thunder Sea. I'll think of a way when I return to the Divine Dragon Continent to see if I can find a team to send you over. He didn't even ask why Lin Mo was going to Burial Thunder Canyon, but instead started helping to think of a way to get there. Lin Mo couldn't help but have a good impression of this burly man. Lin Mo said softly, Thank you, Brother Liang, my matter is not urgent, take your time. At this time, the team stopped, and Jia Lan Liang said, Brother Lin, retreat first. Lin Mo saw the destination of Jia Lan Liang and others. A huge monster with a light bulb on its head. Chapter 458. Snake-like but not snake, fish-like but not fish. On the Qinghai grassland, almost all the monsters have the ability to change color. It is extremely difficult to find them with the naked eye. But this one is an exception. Lin Mo saw it from a distance. There was a bright light hanging on its head. The whole body has changed color and hidden, leaving this lamp unable to change, always emitting a faint yellow light. Jia Lan Liang said, Brother Lin, retreat further, I'm afraid you will be accidentally injured when fighting later. This guy's group attack skills are still very strong. Lin Mo didn't say anything, and retreated hundreds of meters directly. Jia Lan Liang's 10-man team has 2 healers, 2 support, and the other 5 are mages. The team configured in this way is slightly different from the conventional one. Obviously, this team is prepared for the monster with the light. The support quickly buffed the team, and the healers were ready. It begins. Be careful yourselves. Jia Lan Liang gave a soft shout and launched a charge directly. He seemed to see where the monster was, and fell from the air like a meteor, crashing down hard. Lin Mo was slightly surprised. Jia Lan Liang is in level 82 Holy Word Knight. 710. 52. Its combat strength was self-evident. With such a full-force collision, power overflowed. The terrifying impact might trigger a rebound from the sword grass. Earlier, through Jia Lan Liang's introduction, he learned that the grass on the Qinghai grassland was called sword grass. Seemingly grass, it flies like a sword. As for why the Qinghai grassland possessed the characteristic of reflecting damage, Jia Lan Liang wasn't too clear. With a loud bang, Jia Lan Liang heavily collided with the monster. He collided very accurately, the shield in his hand gleaming, the power of the skill almost concentrated on a very small point and erupted. Even the shockwave didn't overflow, and the surrounding sword grass didn't move at all. Lin Mo watched this and couldn't help but admire Jia Lan Liang's control over his skills. After level 80, the skills that should be learned have basically been learned. What remains is to see who can better control the skills. Obviously, Jia Lan Liang did very well. Under the impact, the monster screamed, and the lamp on its head became extremely bright, like a small, shining sun. The monster's figure was also revealed at the same time. Its body was over 20 meters long and over 5 meters in diameter, slightly round and fat. Several pairs of tentacles, like claws, grew under its body. It also had a fish tail, full of barbs, and a lamp on top of its head. Resembling a snake yet not a snake, resembling a fish yet not a fish, it was very strange. The monster instantly counterattacked upon being attacked, the lamp on its head instantly becoming extremely bright. At this time, 2 support players acted simultaneously. 2 control-type skills landed at the same time. Skill, Binding. Skill, Sleep. The lamp on the monster's head dimmed for a moment, but immediately lit up again. Ineffective. The skill failed. The 2 support players shouted. They failed to interrupt the monster's skill. Jia Lan Liang shouted loudly, Mages defend, healers prepare, Brother Lin, retreat. As he spoke, he swung his shield and smashed it over. Skill, Shield Impact. Shield Impact has a certain degree of stun effect, but it was still ineffective. The mages had already activated their magic shields. The healers and support players hid behind the mages, and the healers' skills were already charged and ready. Lin Mo put on a layer of skeletal armor for himself and retreated another 100 meters. At the same time, he cast a detection spell, as he was slightly curious about this monster. Lantern Fire Fish Lord Level Boss. Level 83. Strength 1 million. Agility 500,000. Spirit 1 million. Constitution 1,200,000. Skills: Lightfire Barrage, Lightfire Meteor, Lightfire Flash. Traits: Fire element damage reduced by 70%, Water element damage reduced by 70%, Abnormal status resistance enhanced, Life force enhanced. The 3.7 million attributes were okay, completely different from the level of existence compared to the giant leaf mother tree and venomous flood dragon he had encountered before. Looking at these 3 skills, coupled with its traits, Lin Mo felt that it was a bit difficult to deal with. Of course, this difficulty was only for Jia Lan Liang and the others. Double elemental immunity was one thing, but the key was the trait of enhanced abnormal status resistance, which greatly weakened the effectiveness of the support player's control skills. The lantern on the lantern fire fish's head shone to the extreme and burst out suddenly. Skill: Light Fire Barrage. In an instant, thousands of rays of light shot out from the lantern. The light was full of fire elements. Defend! Jalin Liang shouted loudly, holding up his shield and forcibly blocking nearly a third of the attacks. He was sent flying backward, and the healers quickly healed him. The fire element landed on the mages' shields, causing the shields to deform wildly. Raging flames quickly burned on the shields. A ray of light also landed on Lin Mo. The skeletal armor flashed a white light, blocking the attack. Lin Mo discovered that this skill not only carried fire elements with extremely strong impact. Moreover, its attack did not cause the sword grass to rebound when it landed on the Qinghai grassland. It seemed that the damage reflection characteristic of the Qinghai grassland was also targeted. The lantern firefish was originally a monster from the Qinghai grassland, so it wouldn't cause a rebound. The skills came one after another, preventing Jalin Liang from being able to counterattack. The support players continued to use other control skills. After using several skills in a row, the lantern firefish finally stopped abruptly. Control took effect, and the skill was interrupted. Attack! Jalin Liang seized the opportunity and roared, starting a frantic attack. The 5 mages also cast their skills at the same time, launching an attack. They all used wind element skills. The lantern firefish had dual immunity to fire and water elements, and the immunity was as high as 70%, so naturally fire and water skills couldn't be used. Wind element skills landed on the lantern firefish. After only 2 seconds, the control skill ended. The lantern firefish counterattacked again with a scream, and the lantern on its head lit up again. Its skills were basically concentrated on the lantern on its head. This time, the lantern was brighter than last time, and it began to emit raging flames. The lantern turned into a fireball, and in an instant, it detached from the lantern firefish and soared into the sky. It burned fiercely in the sky, and then burst out a large number of light pillars, shooting towards the earth like sharp arrows. Covering an area of several hundred meters. Skill: Light Fire Meteor. Like light, like fire, like a meteor, this attack skill doesn't care about anything, it's just fast, ruthless, and accurate. Jalin Liang instantly flew back to the team and propped up a group defense. At the same time, he didn't forget to shout to Lin Mo, "Brother Lin, retreat further." Lin Mo continued to retreat. He had already retreated more than 800 meters, completely leaving the lantern firefish's attack range. The light fire meteor hit the shield propped up by Jalin Liang, turning the entire shield into a ball of fire. However, the shield was very stable and not afraid at all. The 2 support players were still using control skills, hoping to interrupt the lantern firefish's skills. Lin Mo originally wanted to help them, but after thinking about it, he didn't act. He would wait and see first. It seemed that Jalin Liang had full confidence in dealing with it. 53. Finally, the lantern firefish was hit by a control skill again. The skill was interrupted, and the lantern, which was originally in midair, was about to fly back with a whoosh. At this moment, Jalin Liang shot out swiftly, the knight's sword in his hand bursting with brilliant light. He lightly chanted, "Certain hit. Certain victory strike. Holy word knight," uttering celestial words, words followed by law. This ability cannot be used casually, each time it consumes a lot of mental energy, so it is not used lightly. But if used well, the effect is excellent. Just like now, the lantern firefish's lantern is rapidly returning. Normally, Jalin Liang's speed would not be able to catch up. But he used the holy word, and his whole person instantly transformed into light, not only catching up but also hitting with incredible accuracy. The moment the lantern was hit, the lantern firefish let out a miserable cry. It instantly broke free from the control skill, its whole body emitting flames. Skill: Firelight Radiance. Flames raged in all directions, enveloping Jalin Liang within. Jalin Liang ignored the flames and lightly chanted, "Extreme Defense." His whole body glowed, and he continued to attack the lantern. The lantern is the lantern firefish's weakness. Attacking the lantern when it is separated from its body can cause multiple times the damage to the lantern firefish. The lantern firefish was obviously anxious. It rushed towards Jalin Liang, its huge body charging straight, trying to stop Jalin Liang and retrieve its lantern. At this moment, several powerful wind blades flew over, accurately hitting the lantern. The mage cooperated with Jalan Liang, not allowing the lantern to return. The rhythm of the battle had been mastered by Jalan Liang, who used the holy word again and again, firmly controlling the lantern. Lin Mo knew that Jalan Liang was bound to win this battle, and eliminating the lantern firefish was only a matter of time. Time passed by, and the lantern firefish was never able to retrieve its lantern. It was severely damaged, and its aura gradually weakened. Just as victory was in sight, suddenly an arrow shot from the side. "Careful," Lin Mo lightly shouted, and Jalan Liang also reacted, but it was too late. The arrow accurately hit Jalan Liang's shoulder and exploded with a bang. Chapter 459, Please Don't Bully My Little Succubus. The arrow appeared very suddenly, without warning. Even Lin Mo only sensed it at the same time as the arrow appeared. Jalan Liang reacted half a beat slower than Lin Mo, only managing to slightly move his body. The arrow landed on his shoulder, blocked by the armor. Then the arrow exploded violently, the huge impact sending Jalan Liang flying more than 10 meters away. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the lantern firefish retrieved its lantern, then fled into the distance with a strange cry. Filled with anger, Jalan Liang wanted to chase after it, but several more arrows appeared out of nowhere, stopping him. Things happened too suddenly. By the time the people in Jalan Liang's team reacted, the lantern firefish had already escaped far away. "Black Dragon Society bastards, you're courting death," Jalan Liang roared. He didn't need to guess to know who was firing the cold arrows. Not only was he angry, but the people in the team were equally indignant. An assistant raised his staff high, the light in the staff greatly increased, and a ball of light exploded on the staff. The ball of light had no attack power, but wherever it shone, no one could hide. Even the monsters on the ground revealed their outlines. In midair, a half-human, half-horse monster appeared. It looked like an external object, but it was not a monster. Lin Mo recognized it at a glance as an Onmyoji's Shikigami. A legendary profession unique to Sakura country, Onmyoji. This monster, with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse, was holding a bow, and there was a person sitting on its back. This person was wearing Sakura country's unique clothing, with a gloomy smile. Tisk tisk tisk, what a pity. It was so close, the lantern was about to be obtained. What a pity, now the lantern firefish has escaped again. It will probably take a long time to find it next time. Jalan Liang pointed his long sword at him. "Abe Yoshino, you are courting death." Abe Yoshino chuckled, "Who dies is not certain." As he spoke, the centaur he was sitting on shot an arrow into the air. The arrow exploded in midair, emitting a sharp sound and bright light, the light flashing in the air, lingering for a long time. Lin Mo saw it and felt that the effect of this light arrow was similar to the rescue signal of the Shengxia Empire. A large number of professionals flew over, very quickly, arriving in an instant. There were as many as 20 Sakura country professionals, surrounding Jalan Liang and the others. Lin Mo had already moved over at this time, standing together with Jalan Liang and the others. Jalan Liang said coldly, "Does the Black Dragon Society want to start a war with our Jalan Guild?" Abe Yoshino smiled coldly, No, we never thought of starting a war, we just want to kill you." Jalan Liang said with disdain, "With you bunch of trash wanting to kill me, how much wine did you drink to dream such a dream?" Abe Yoshino shook his head, "We naturally can't kill you with just us, but what if we add them?" As Abe Yoshino spoke, he took out a black stone. Jalan Liang's face changed drastically. "Abyssal magic stone, the Black Dragon Society has actually colluded with the abyssal demons." Abe Yoshino still shook his head, "Don't say it so harshly, we are just partners." The black stone was activated by Abe Yoshino, and a black space-time channel appeared beside him. With a cold wind, green abyssal fire emerged from the channel, and a demon flew out. A huge aura exceeding level 80 was released. Actually, an old acquaintance. The one who came out of the space-time channel was actually the succubus Mina. The succubus who had been seen in the core area before. Unexpectedly, they met again here. After the succubus Mina came out, she activated an abyssal magic stone again, and a huge barrier fell from the sky, enveloping everyone within. Jalan Liang's face was very unsightly at this time, he felt a threat from Mina. The succubus in front of him was extremely powerful. Jalan Liang said coldly, "Abe Yoshino, you should know that as long as one of us goes back, the Black Dragon Society is finished." Abe Yoshino laughed twice without speaking. Mina flapped her small, exquisite wings and flew over, with a smile on her face. Little brother Leong, I can't bear to kill you. This time, I want to talk to you about cooperation. Mina exuded a strong charm, and a strange aura flowed in the barrier. Except for Jolin Leong and Lin Mo, everyone present had a somewhat blurred gaze, looking at Mina with admiration. Abe Yoshino's eyes were blurred at this time, also affected. Mina brought the characteristics of the succubus to the extreme, making others fascinated. Wake up, Jolin Leong roared, the knight's sword in his hand heavily hitting the shield, making a deafening sound. Everyone immediately woke up. Everyone who woke up felt a burst of fear. This succubus was too terrifying, they were unconsciously lost in it. Mina giggled, not bad, little brother Leong's heart is very firm. 54. Too bad, your partners are not doing so well. Amidst her charming laughter, those who had just regained consciousness fell back into confusion. This time, Mina unleashed an even more potent charm. Lin Moyu finally understood why so many high-ranking human officials and top-tier professionals were willing to work for the demons of the abyss. A top-tier succubus possessed such powerful bewitching abilities, if the succubus queen were to act personally. How many professionals, aside from divine-level powerhouses, could withstand it? Within the barrier, only Jia Lan Liang and Lin Moyu remained conscious. Lin Moyu possessed powerful mental strength and was immune to all status effects. The succubus's power was ineffective against him. Jia Lan Liang felt the succubus's power crashing against his mental world like waves, one after another. It threatened to collapse his mental world and seize his soul, turning him into her slave, a puppet. He had no choice but to defend with all his might. At this moment, he couldn't even speak, all his willpower was engaged in fighting against this bewitching power. Mina concentrated most of her power on Jia Lan Liang, the others were merely incidental. Suddenly, the detection spell swept through like a breeze. Lin Moyu received information about Mina. Top-tier succubus. Level 83. A succubus as high as level 83, no wonder she could force the ancient Luan bird to seek rebirth in the core area. Moreover, Mina was restricted at the time, not daring to unleash her full power. Otherwise, the ancient Luan bird might have been killed by her. Sensing the detection spell, Mina turned to look. In an instant, she froze. Mina's perfect and seductive face froze, her smile froze, her eyes filled with shock. You, how are you here? Lin Moyu greeted Mina, long time no see. Lo, long time no see, Mina stammered. As a confidant of the succubus queen, she knew far more than other demons. The Lin Moyu of now was definitely not the Lin Moyu she encountered in the core area. The current Lin Moyu was a terrifying figure capable of killing the flame demon lord. To deal with him, only the demon king himself could act. With her small frame, Mina's first reaction was to flee. In the moment Mina was stunned, Jia Lan Liang felt the pressure drop sharply, and he instantly relaxed. He asked in surprise, Brother Lin, do you know her? Lin Moyu nodded. I saw her in the upper core area, she once came to hunt me down, but failed to kill me. Jia Lan Liang couldn't imagine how a top-tier demon would go to the upper space to hunt down a human professional. How much hatred was that? The problem was the last few words, failed to kill me. Lin Moyu slowly flew over, do you want to try again and see if you can kill me? Mina shook her head faster than a rattle drum, no, no, please don't bully this little succubus. With my small frame, how can I be a match for you? Mina's posture at this time was as low as it could be. She wasn't stupid, how could she defeat someone who could kill the flame demon lord? Lin Moyu said in a low voice, how would you know if you don't try? Mina shook her head desperately, forcing a smile, no, no, you're busy, I'll leave first. Mina took out a piece of abyss demon stone at her fastest speed and activated it instantly. While activating it, she even spat a mouthful of blood on the stone to speed up the activation process. A vortex appeared in front of her, instantly sucking her in. At this moment, a flash of firelight swept across Lin Moyu's palm, and a scream came from the vortex. Then the vortex disappeared. Lin Moyu said coldly, she ran away really fast. At this time, Jia Lan Liang was dumbfounded, what was going on? Chapter 460. Anyone related to demons, kill on sight. The barrier was set up by the succubus Mina. Only she could use the corresponding teleportation props within the barrier. Most of the teleportation props on other people had lost their effect. Lin Moyu's Abyss Teleportation Stone was still effective. Mina didn't have the ability to seal the Abyss Teleportation Stone yet. Currently, there were very few times when the Abyss Teleportation Stone would fail. Except for divine-level powerhouses like the Demon King, or when the distance was too great, the Abyss Teleportation Stone would lose its effect. As soon as Mina left, the people in the barrier woke up one after another. What happened? Where did the succubus lord go? Abe Yoshino was confused and didn't know what had happened. He only knew that after waking up, the succubus Mina had disappeared. Lin Moyu said softly, "Brother Liang, what should we do with these people? Should we kill them?" If it were him, he wouldn't even ask and would just kill them directly. But now that Jia Lan Liang was here, he still had to ask for his opinion. Jia Lan Liang said, "He is the son of the Black Dragon Society's president, and a soul mark has been planted. He will be resurrected even if he is killed. Our Jia Lan Guild doesn't want to start a war with the Black Dragon Society for the time being." The Black Dragon Society was the strongest professional guild in the Sakura country. If they fought with the Jia Lan Guild, it would be harmful to the human race. As the young president of the Jia Lan Guild, Jia Lan Liang naturally had to consider more. Lin Moyu said, "I can prevent him from resurrecting." It was very simple to prevent resurrection, just obliterate the other party's soul. If the soul couldn't return and the soul mark failed, it naturally couldn't be resurrected. Lin Moyu didn't understand before, but now he did. With the soul flame skill, he could naturally do it. Jia Lan Liang thought for a second, if that's the case, then kill him. Since he could eliminate future troubles forever, Jia Lan Liang had no scruples. Anyway, many people died in the lower space every day. It was normal for one more Abe Yoshino to die. Jia Lan Liang was about to act when Lin Moyu stopped him. "I'll do it." He slowly flew out of the team and came to Abe Yoshino. Abe Yoshino had just woken up and hadn't heard the conversation between Lin Moyu and Jia Lan Liang. He didn't know what a mere level 52 guy was going to do. His thinking hadn't fully returned to normal, otherwise he should have realized that it was abnormal for a level 52 person to appear in the lower space. Lin Moyu wouldn't say a word to him, he would kill anyone related to the demons of the abyss. He raised his finger and pointed it at Abe Yoshino. With a buzz, a red light flashed. Skill, Curse of Aging. The curse was blocked by the barrier and only took effect within the barrier. 55. The Black Dragon Society members were simultaneously hit by curses. The curses completely woke them up. As top-tier professionals above level 70, they possessed extremely rich combat experience. Almost instantly after being cursed, the healers instinctively began to cast spells, trying to dispel the curses. Besides this, several monsters within the barrier were also hit by the curses, and they all flew up, pouncing towards Lin Moyu. "Brother Lin, be care. A diaresis I 1/4. Jia Liang exclaimed, but before he could finish his words, he swallowed them back. Lin Moyu's second skill was suddenly activated. Skill, Bone Prison. In an instant, dense white bones grew on everyone, including Abe Jiyoshi. Bone Prison not only possessed binding abilities but also carried a paralyzing effect. The paralyzing effect was useless against world-class bosses, but it produced a good effect against these professionals. All Black Dragon Society members, including the monsters that had just flown up, froze in the air, unable to move. Even the centaur Shikigami under Abe Jiyoshi was like this, turning into a bone centaur, motionless. Bone Prison's group binding wouldn't last too long. Plus, due to the level difference, the binding time wouldn't exceed 10 seconds. However, these 10 seconds were enough for Lin Moyu to kill people. Dense undead legions appeared in the air, almost filling the barrier. The back of Lin Moyu's hand heated up, and the strong soldier skill was suddenly activated. Since he wanted to exterminate them, Lin Moyu had to uproot them completely, leaving no trace. Not only Abe Jiyoshi's soul had to be obliterated, but also the souls of others. He wasn't sure if others had soul imprints. It's better to be safe than sorry. Under Abe Jiyoshi's horrified gaze, the skeleton berserker swung his axe in front of him. Red light flashed, and the skeleton berserker unleashed a skill at him. Abe Jiyoshi roared from his throat, and a powerful aura erupted from his body, trying to break free from Bone Prison. With a loud bang, the axe fell on him with the skill. Abe Jiyoshi's body was instantly torn apart and exploded. Not dead, Lin Moyu was slightly stunned, his soul flame still locked onto Abe Jiyoshi's soul. He was preparing to completely obliterate his soul the moment it lost protection after Abe Jiashi died. But now Abe Jiashi was not dead, Lin Moyu could feel it. Is it a substitute technique? A good skill. The soul flame flickered a few times, and a scream suddenly came from behind him. A Shikigami holding a knife had appeared behind Lin Moyu at some point. The large knife, carrying a sharp blade light, fell from behind Lin Moyu's head. Abe Jiashi was curled up on the Shikigami's shoulder, his face twisted with pain, his whole body trembling. The taste of soul flame was extremely unpleasant, especially under the strong soldier skill, where the power of the soul flame was increased by more than 10 times, and the pain was correspondingly increased by more than 10 times. He could only barely control the Shikigami to attack now. The Shikigami's slash was very fast, not giving Lin Moyu a chance to dodge. The blade light landed on the top of Lin Moyu's head, and the bone armor shone brightly, completely blocking it. So weak. Lin Moyu was surprised. Is this a top-tier professional? How could he be so weak? He couldn't even break his bone armor. He was a legendary professional after all. Compared to world-class bosses like the poisonous flood dragon, he was too weak. Even the ancient Luan bird didn't seem to be much worse than him. It's not that the Onmyoji is too weak, but that he is too strong. He usually deals with world-class bosses. Professionals of similar levels are naturally not in his eyes. Lin Moyu's only interest was gone, and the soul flame flickered again. The skeleton archmage and sharpshooter simultaneously launched a concentrated fire attack on Abe Jiashi. A roar sounded, and Abe Jiashi screamed again. He was not a boss, his vitality was not that strong. A round of concentrated fire under that strong soldier state was enough to beat him half to death. Plus the second soul flame, Abe Jiashi was already dying. As for the Shikigami's attack, it had been ignored by Lin Moyu. The skeleton berserker appeared in front of Abe Jiashi like a teleport, and slashed down again with his axe. Sensing the threat of death, Abe Jiashi took out a scroll and activated it instantly. A shield appeared on his body. The shield was very strong, blocking the skeleton's attacks. Abe Jiashi also took out a bottle of potion and drank it. The injuries he had just received were quickly recovering. Professionals above level 80, top professionals, were not so easy to kill. But for Lin Moyu, it was just a little more effort. No matter how difficult, could it be more difficult than a world-class boss? All of this happened in just 2 seconds. Abe Jiashi had already experienced 2 deaths. His face was filled with deep fear, he was really scared. Although he didn't know Lin Moyu's identity, how could such a person only be level 52? In Abe Jiashi's eyes, Zhao Dahao, Lin Moyu was definitely an expert pretending to be a god. At this time, screams rang out one after another. Abe Jiashi saw what was happening around him. The members of the Black Dragon Society had their hands and feet chopped off by axes, and fell from the air. They weren't killed, their hands and feet were chopped off first, destroying their possibility of escape. He would kill them one by one later. Abe Jiashi was terrified. The skeletons of this guy were too terrifying. Each one was no weaker than himself, and the key was that there were so many of them. How to fight? There was no way to fight. Lin Moyu didn't give him a chance to breathe. The skeleton archmage and sharpshooter fired again. Abe Jiashi's shield shattered. Without thinking, Abe Jiashi took out another scroll and activated it, forming a shield to block the attack. Diaresis A, it's useless. Elemental roars exploded on the shield. Wait, let's talk. Stop, stop. Abe Jiashi shouted loudly, but Lin Moyu didn't give him a chance to negotiate at all. The shield was shattered again, and Lin Moyu's soul flames flew into his mental world one by one, beginning to obliterate his soul. Screams came one after another. After 5 or 6 consecutive screams, it stopped completely.